value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Not all policies will qualify. Not available in all states.
Kick off fall with Labor Day deals happening now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on select interior paint via Lowe's gift card rebate for your next paint project. Plus, don't miss out on select one-pint annuals. Get 5 for only $5. Shop these can't-miss deals today before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
Hi, I'm State School Superintendent Tom Horn. Arizona has a shortage of teachers and a need to improve students' proficiency in reading and math. We need to increase teachers' income, which they deserve, and to increase students' proficiency, which is my highest priority. I'm therefore providing $40 million for free one-on-one tutoring for all students, first grade through high school, regardless of proficiency level. Learn more today at azed.gov.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Education.
Lab-grown diamonds might be new to retail, but not to Desert Wholesale Diamond. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor of Desert Wholesale Diamond. And even though I'm a fourth-generation natural diamond importer, I was the first to import these gorgeous, eco-friendly, low-carbon footprint, conflict-free, real and genuine diamonds to the West Coast. And unlike everyone who's recently gotten on the lab-grown bandwagon, we work with the largest growers in the world to bring you the best possible diamonds at the lowest possible price. We know what to import and what to reject. And because we're importing direct, working in our low overhead wholesale offices, and making our own rings, bracelets, and earrings in our own facility, we can offer better pricing than anyone. So work with the leader, not the followers, and let us find you the perfect cultivated diamond for less, a lot less.
Call 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow Dave on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
The road to better health leads to my longtime friends, Dr. William Gaspar and his wife Ava at Beehive IV Wellness in Chandler. J.D. Hayworth here, and the buzz about Beehive is spelled out in its middle name. IV. Not only are today's popular treatments available, IV hydration, joint injections, semaglutide for weight loss, as well as many more, it's also the Gaspar's holistic naturopathic approach that helps your body with self-healing. That means treating the underlying causes of chronic disease, from chronic fatigue to fibromyalgia, even those dealing with Lyme disease and lupus. The experienced medical staff designs a customized plan for each patient. So walk in or make an appointment today. Mention my name, J.D. Hayworth. Get half off your first treatment. Better health awaits you at Beehive IV Wellness in Chandler. Search Beehive IV Wellness on your cell phone. And remember, you'll thrive at Beehive.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
Quiet, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Thursday here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow, but we got Keon Rhodes in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. All right, another sweep. That ain't bad. I mean, it really needed to happen versus the Marlins, but still, another sweep, not bad. Every win matters, especially in this tight little race for the National League West. But, of course, here comes George, ready to fire people. He says, hey, the Diamondbacks swept the Florida Marlins and are tied up again with the San Diego Padres. Jordan Montgomery stunk it up, should be demoted to the bullpen. But his $25 million payroll might prevent that. I don't think it would. On to Boston to play the cheating Boston Red Sox. Yeah, Alex Cora is a cheater, and we remember Berg. Fair enough. I mean, I can't argue with that. But that doesn't mean the Boston Red Sox. Alex Cora from the cheating scandal, with the Astros, right? He's not talking about like cheating with the Red Sox, is he? I get my cheaters confused.
No, I think he got in trouble after he became the manager of the Red Sox, but he was cheating with the Astros. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But he got in trouble with the Red Sox also? Or just
Well, I mean, he was suspended that first season.
Okay, so it wasn't with the Red Sox.
I don't
was right.
I don't think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good way to start the show. I'm right. 888-368-1580. And that was a hard fought third game of that series with the Marlins. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Knocked in 4 runs right there with a go-ahead pinch hit 3-run double in the 7th inning. And it was absolutely necessary because, man, these Marlins did not want to get swept. They really wanted to try to get a win. And so, okay, cool. Yeah. On Friday, we got Ryan Nelson on the mound against the Red Sox. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say the Marlins are a team. They're scrappy, man. Like they fight really hard, but management decided to trade all of their best players right before the deadline. So they don't have anybody. So, that's a team you ought to beat, but like, don't make any mistake about it. These aren't a group of guys that are going to lie down and quit. They're just not as talented as you. And that's why you should beat them.
And we did. Barely. Doesn't make me feel good.
Well, when you say barely, I mean, barely in the sense that, like, obviously, as Big George was alluding to, the pitching let them down. Yes. The bats were just fine.
Yeah, 10 runs. 10 runs to 8.
So, like, barely in the sense that you generated 10 runs because you had to. There's not a whole lot of teams in Major League Baseball that can say that.
The Marlins got 8.
Well, yeah, that's because you had a pitcher that was just throwing meatballs across the plate.
Maybe George is right.
I don't often agree with what feels like Big George overreactions, but this isn't an overreaction. This is just like a season full of guys been disappointing.
Well,
so like your rotation is going to tighten up in the playoffs. You're not going to rely on him anywhere near this much.
Oh no. And listen, we get a day off. Then you got Boston on Friday. And that means one day closer to Ketel Marte trying to get his butt back out there on the diamond. So, take the win.
Look, you got those runs, and Ketel Marte was not there.
Yep.
You got to feel good about that.
That is a good point. We did batting practice on them, but so did they. So, Bruno Baller says, "Hey, with college football starting up Saturday, is it though? Really?
It is." But we selectively choose what to care about around here.
He says, I'd like to ask Keon if he's interested in any of the games.
Oh, am I interested? Yeah, I mean,
0. So how interesting can they be?
Well, no, you've got a couple of games that are, the Clemson. Well, no, that's actually next week. I was going to say Clemson and Georgia, but the Florida State Georgia Tech's interesting to me. So I'll probably check that one out.
All right, there you go, King Kittens. There you go. I'm sorry, it was Bruno Baller. 888-368-1580. King of Kitten says, all right, well, I think we maybe had this one before. He says, how about butt fumble? That's not too bad. We would put that on the list.
Yeah, that's all right.
Still sitting here with that guy from yesterday, 89, 84, or whatever his number is.
I just think you're going to have to point out that this person goes in the penalty box until they actually get a text or nickname, because that's the rule of the show. This is a show that doesn't have very many rules. The Daily Blender, far fewer rules than most radio shows you'll listen to. But we only have one rule: if you're texting in, you got to have a text or nickname, and you get to choose it.
I never even thought that I needed to say that. I never established it as an actual rule of a show. I've never said you have to have, because everybody wanted to have. Anybody would text in, they're like, yeah, you need a text or nickname. They're like, yeah, I do. And because it's the only time in your entire life you get to choose your own nickname. The rest of the time and the rest of humanity, your nickname is chosen for you by people who do not like you. Or if they do like you, it's worse. You don't get to pick your own nickname in real life. So you come in here, you get a chance to pick your own nickname. People enjoy it, except for 89, 84. So I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. Should I ban him from texting until he has a nickname, or should I just not care?
It's not ban him so much as just, hey, Your text is being held hostage. You get a text or nickname.
Yeah, it's the same thing, kind of.
I mean, I guess
it's been since February.
We'll acknowledge that you're there, that we see your text, but we can't read that. We need a name so we can tell all the texts apart.
Feel like I'm being heavy-handed. Walter Mellon says, "Send him to the gallows, Jeffrey."
You have to send him to the gallows, but
God, why don't we have gallows?
It's been since February. Well,
we should have gallows.
We should not have gallows.
Why can't we have gallows?
That's a horrific. That's how they used to kill people, and people used to go watch, and it was
all
sick.
right. Like not kill gallows, more
That's
like
what kind of other gallows are there?
Mildly annoy gallows.
The gallows were for hanging people. That's what they're for.
I mean, you know.
But it's like how the noose that mildly annoys people. Like, no, it's for killing people.
You can have a noose that mildly annoys you. You put it on, and then the door goes, and for a second you're like, ugh! And then it snaps, and you get to fall into a pile of feathers. See what I'm saying?
That's
mildly annoying.
That's not mildly annoying. That's actually pretty terrifying.
Yeah, but the terrifying part, I don't mind. I don't mind terrifying. I'm just not looking to kill listeners. You kill listeners, you kill ratings. You got to use your mind on these things.
I'm trying to tell you.
So Walter Mellon, I will send him to the mildly annoying gallows.
Okay. I still don't believe that there's such a thing.
I may have just invented it. Ghetto Girl says, "You assigned me Ghetto Girl, which I'm good with." Did I?
I don't remember that.
Well, let's see here. I have to go all back to February.
Was it one of those where we asked you for information, and with the information given, you got that nickname? Because
no, here's why.
Okay.
She first texted a great text on February 6th. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but she put in Asmospheric River. I can't remember what we were talking about. And then she said, "This is the best bad show on the radio. Sounds like me and a bunch of my drunk friends trying to sound intelligent." And then later on, so this was in April, she said that. Then May 31st, she says, "You know, you can take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the girl." And by then I was telling her, "You need a text her nickname." And then she says, "Ghetto bitch." And I'm like, no.
we're not doing that.
And then she said ghetto girl. So she actually chose
you
it.
chose it. Yeah.
Yeah, you chose it. Go back and look at that. But I assigned you because that was what you wanted. You wanted worse. I'm not going to call anybody that. Ghetto girl will do. ASU Buddy says, "Just give 8984 an annoying texter nickname until he decides to make one for himself." That sounds like me.
That sounds like you. What I'm
does.
afraid of for this particular person is you continue to take too long, and you've already gone from February to damn near September and haven't chosen a texter nickname. Don't let this one stick around too long, because if we like it,
yeah, it stays. Yeah, there is a point.
You will have found a way to have been assigned a nickname in the one situation where you could have chosen your own.
Big Jake says, Ghetto Girl is most likely not a girl at all. She said she was. Let me scroll back up here now. Let's see. That's
what I assumed from you can take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the girl part.
Uh-huh.
I thought that assumed girl just by that description.
I'm trying to find. I'll be honest. I don't have a verification that Ghetto Girl is actually a girl. So yeah, that's a good point. Charlie Boy is on the text line. Says, "Hey guys, can't wait for the big party tomorrow at Dave and Buster's at the Tempe Marketplace." Keon, you're right. It should be mandatory for listeners to have texter nickname.
Because
no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Because if we have like 3 people on the text line just deciding not to choose texter nicknames, then we have last four digits of 4 phone numbers just out there, and now no one can tell you guys apart.
I don't know if we'll ever have that problem.
We have had a bunch of new listeners join at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they've all chosen texter nicknames.
Yeah. Beer Bob says the only B word women should be called is beautiful. He says because bitches love being called beautiful.
Oh my God.
He's not wrong.
I should have seen that coming.
Brooks Kepka says, "I'm ready for a new texter nickname too. What do you got?" You don't get a new one. You're Brooks Kepka. Listen, you guys, when you chose it at the beginning, you're stuck with it.
That's the other issue is once you choose it.
Like a really compelling reason really compelling to change.
Like, you nicknamed yourself after your favorite player, and then your favorite player got traded to a rival. That's we'll allow that. That's a good
Donnie says, nobody told me I was supposed to have a nickname, so I just texted my real name, and now it's too late to change it.
Hey,
Well, your texts are so dumb, we thought for sure that was just some made-up name, like Donnie from The Big Lebowski. You know? Shut the F up, Donnie. You're out of your element.
You're out of your league, Donnie.
We really thought that was supposed to be that. And then we met you. And we were like, it absolutely is supposed to be that. Then you flash your ID, and I'm like, oh, my God, what a coincidence. His actual name is Donnie.
What a coincidence.
You can't change yours either. Sorry. Rough Rob says, just send the dude back middle finger emojis. Yeah, okay.
Why we?
You don't even have to.
It's funny.
Give me a reason. Berg says, name him I Love Burrito Express. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
But what if he actually does love Burrito Express? Like, you're saying it sarcastically. What if he actually does like it?
Call him Burrito Boy. Hey, Burrito Boy is on the text line.
Burrito Boy says. That's not bad.
Chief Skull says, good afternoon, guys. And yes, it should be mandatory. I say mandatory to have a texter nickname. Brooks Koepka says, but I'm washed up. It could come back around. You never know. Florida Mustard says, Dave and Buster's had an airborne gonorrhea outbreak yesterday due to Kyler Murray free balling while playing skee ball.
I don't think that any of those things happened.
Yeah, that's I think Florida Mustard is the same person as Booger Wolf.
Kyler Murray doesn't
I think we
actually
established that.
like people. I don't think that he would be in a Dave and Buster's.
Walter Mellon says, I feel like my texter nickname was unique. I chose it and it was pronounced wrong for like 2 years. And then Jeffrey finally got it that it's Walter Mellon and not Watermelon. I don't know what to tell you. My brain told me that's what it said for all that time. Or no, we actually had it. We had it up there as the name. It said Watermelon. And he said originally, no, it was Walter Mellon. So that's what it is. Or else I wouldn't have kept reading it. I Ron Burgundy the hell out of your texter nickname. Hurry Harry says, call the guy lame texter. Oh, okay. So a lame texter says.
And the only way to stop being a lame texter.
Well, then we have to make sure they know that. A lame unnamed texter says.
Yeah, because it's got to be.
All right. Next time that guy comes around, that's what we'll do, Hurry Harry. Delicious says college football starts on Saturday. Yeah, I know we just talked about like 3 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm.
He says, now I have something to watch at Twin Peaks during my fantasy football draft Saturday. An 8984 name should be Slightly Stupid. It's not a bad texter nickname.
Yeah. Just genuinely,
Big George says, question, does serious bodily injury allow you to change your texter nickname? No.
Only if, like, your bodily injury, Big George, was that you were divided in half. Because then you'd no longer be Big George.
Well, wait. Divided which way? Because if you're divided straight down the middle.
That's true. It would have to be horizontal.
Now you get... You choose which side of you keeps the original texter nickname. The other part of you that gets a new one.
Okay, that's true. I meant
you're not half the man you used to be.
Oh my gosh.
I hate myself. And then if you're cut like in half from like the middle,
horizontally. There.
Yeah.
Then both halves of you would be below.
I'm not giving your lower part a nickname.
No, but you would be a smaller person. Like, I think that would qualify as.
Yeah, I'd just put in half George.
You'd be half George.
Yeah, half George says. I don't know that
the recently minted 3.5 foot George.
Everybody needs to just understand that it takes a very, very compelling reason for me to let you change a texter nickname, and those are few and far between. People have been trying to change their names for years, and I'm like, nope.
Kiss the Cook tries to change his name once a month. It has never worked.
Nope.
And it won't, because he's got a really good nickname.
Yeah. That's the other thing. If you have a good nickname already, why would I do this? ASU Buddy says, just name him Chicken Little. No, I like the lame unnamed texter says every time he does text something in. That's what I think I'm going to go with. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about. What were we talking about? Baseball?
I think so, yeah. I think we were talking baseball.
Oh, hey, the Mariners fired the hell out of their manager.
Yeah, I saw that.
Scott Servais, things have gone badly for the Mariners, and they got scored, 17-7 in a 3-game sweep at Dodger Stadium. And it just has not gone well, and so they've decided they need to shake it up and make a change. I don't know what their current record is, but
they're exactly 500.
Is this the first manager to get gacked?
This season, I believe.
I think somebody got fired earlier in the season. Moist One, who's a Mariners fan, says, man, it was not Scott Servais' fault. The GM should have been fired. Well, that could happen too. That could still happen. Moist One says, no, Pedro Griffel, White Sox. So he was the first guy to go.
That's right. Totally forgot about him. The White Sox
forget Pedro.
I don't know. The White Sox have been garbage. I just completely blanked on the fact that they ended that losing streak. Then he got fired.
Oh, that's right.
I totally forgot about that.
Things did not get better. Beer Bob says, yeah, the White Sox manager. A couple weeks ago. Was it weeks ago? Boy, it seems longer. I don't know. All right, listen, people, we need to take a break. When we come back, let's jump back in. We got college stuff to talk about, even though we do not observe week 0 in college football here on the Daily Blender, and a bunch of NFL football to talk about, too. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL preseason, the Arizona Cardinals will be wrapping up their 3-game exhibition slate on Sunday afternoon in Denver, taking on the Broncos. Denver, a 3.5-point favorite in that contest, minus 180 on the money line. Arizona plus 155 with an over-under of 35.5. Baseball, the Diamondbacks will be in Boston on Friday to begin a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Ryan Nelson getting the start for Arizona, Brian Bayo for Boston. The Diamondbacks are 4 games behind Los Angeles for the top spot in the NL West. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com. Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Anyone looking for a good time should join us this Friday for the Daily Blender Fantasy Football Draft Party at Dave & Buster's at the Tempe Marketplace. All starts with a live remote broadcast of the Daily Blender from 3 to 6 p.m., leading up to the draft of our Daily Blender Fantasy Football Leagues at 7 p.m. After that, well, just gonna party. You don't even have to play fantasy football. Just come out and hang out with us and have some fun. It's this Friday at the Dave & Buster's at the Tempe Marketplace right here on 1580 The Fanatic. Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Berg says the White Sox, don't worry, they're forgettable. True. Chief Skull says he's a Mariner. They should all be walked off the plank. That would be the appropriate way to do it as a mariner, is to have a plank and make the guy walk off the plank, like during a game or something, into a body of water. But if you're getting fired, are you walking off a plank? Nah, you're just going both fingers in the air and walking away. That's not like, hey, we'll pay the rest of your contract.
then you leave as gracefully as you possibly can.
Average Joe says Aaron Judge hit his 48th homer today. Good for Aaron Judge. Yankees suck. All right. Before we go any further, I got to mark a very important thing about today. It's, you know what? I just, I'm glad my wife understands. That's all I'm going to say. Because this is about my hall pass.
Oh.
Smoke Show None on Wheels. NCAA icon Sister Jean celebrates her 105th birthday today. Look at that hot piece of ass right there.
I feel very uncomfortable with many aspects of this conversation.
Look at her.
I am
in the chair, out of the chair, near the chair, over the chair. I don't care. Bring the chair. Bring the chair, baby. Love me some Sister Jean.
I don't know how to feel about that. She's a nun.
105 years old. She knows a few things.
105 years worth of things.
Yeah. She seen some stuff. I'm gonna just say right there.
I don't know how to. I don't know what to do.
Happy birthday, you sexy, sexy thing. You.
Deeply uncomfortable.
This is not about you, Kim.
Why?
It's about me and Sister Jean.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I know, but I'm hearing about it, so I'd rather not. Is what I'm saying. I just see, but then that's at least involving me on the level of I'm hearing something I'm not trying to hear. We have like a betting segment that we do.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, I was just excited to talk about Sister Jean.
I know. Too excited, and This is totally not a distraction from that. This is absolutely not that. This is just genuinely me trying to figure out what to bet tonight.
Well, let's everybody hold your comments about Sister Jean. Let's now go to Dylan Cohen. It's time for some Beat the Book action. All the stuff that he talks about here on the program, you'll see over at 1580thefanatic.com. When you scroll down, it's on the right. Just click on Beat the Book. Got the bets and the thinking behind it. Plus, he's got some other bets to consider there. Plus, a parlay of the day every day. How you doing, Dylan?
Hanging in there, Jeffrey. How are you?
I'm all right. I just, sorry, I didn't mean to get distracted, but I mean, you've seen Sister Jean.
You did mean to get distracted.
Sister. Listen, don't act like you haven't thought the same thing, Dylan.
I'm going to go ahead and just plead the fifth here, Jeffrey.
The fifth or the 105th? Happy birthday, baby. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about your betting from yesterday. How did you do?
We got hosed yesterday. I'm not gonna attempt to try and make it rosier than it was. Going back to the first pick yesterday, that was for Asia Wilson to score 25 or more points in the Aces and Lynx game that was on ESPN yesterday. And she ended up getting the least amount of points that she's had dating back all the way to June 29th. So it was a bit of a anomaly from her. What really contributed to her lack of scoring was her teammate, Jackie Young, just simply having the hot hand in the game. She ended up shooting 75% from three. Kelsey Plum was 9 of 16 from field goals. Both of those girls ended up getting over 20 points, and that took away from Wilson's scoring. So that was a bummer. However, that was not the biggest letdown of the night. And of course, I'm talking about the Brewers and the Cardinals game from yesterday. Jeffrey, did you happen to see that game yesterday? Do you know what happened?
No, I missed it. Was there a fight?
There's probably some fights after the fact.
Was Sister Jean
let
there?
That one go.
Was Sister Jean in the stands?
She may have been because
outside of that, I didn't see it.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals definitely had lady luck on their side. The Cardinals ended up winning this one 10-6 in the bottom of the 10th on a walk-off grand slam from Nolan Arenado. But I just want to be clear, this game was very back and forth, multiple lead changes. The Brewers had the lead in this one at going into the ninth inning. They were up 6-4. And obviously we did not get the result that, we were hoping for. But I just want to point out to the fourth dimension and just something to keep in mind as a lesson moving forward. Whenever, you place a bet on, pregame what is priced as an underdog on the money line, which is what we did yesterday with the Brewers. Whenever the game ends up being close and that team that's the underdog that you bet on has the lead towards the end of the game, you need to be vigilant and you need to be mindful of what the live odds are. So it's always helpful if you're in a position to be able to watch the game live, pull out your apps, see what the live line is. Going into the ninth inning of that game with the Cardinals down only 2 runs, on the live money line, they were plus 1,300, which is 13-1 odds. And I happen to be watching this game live. The Brewers' relief pitching was not the greatest last night. Obviously, with the way that it ended, they ended up walking 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth to make it go to extra innings. But even as of the bottom of the 8th, they barely got out of the inning without giving up a run. It didn't really instill a lot of confidence that they were going to be able to see it through and hold on to the lead. So I happened to pull out my app in the moment, and you have a very short window of time to be able to, potentially look at what's going on and make a move. So in the moment between the bottom of the 8th and the top of the 9th, the live line was at plus 1,300 for the Cardinals live money line. And as it stood, in at least, in my case with the bets that I had out there, I made a decision that, if I put $5 down on plus 1,300 and that returns me $65 plus my 5, so then I have $70 back. This is going to put me in a position where no matter what happens now, I'm not going to lose any money. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. So that's essentially a hedge. And anyone else that happened to see where the live line was in that game at that time, you had an opportunity to hedge your play on Brewers money line. So that way you can guarantee yourself that you weren't going to lose any money last night. So it's something to keep in mind going forward. Obviously, we wanted the Brewers to win. We didn't get the result that we needed, but it's very important to be aware of the live odds whenever you're in a situation like that where your money line play is close and it could lose.
Baker's Cocky Hens text in says Lynx money line was the play I went with yesterday.
That was a great play. And the Lynx have just been on a roll, particularly in the regular season. The Aces, they still have some time to figure things out and put things together for the postseason. I definitely still consider them a pretty heavy favorite to go all the way and get that three-peat and win the championship again. But they've definitely got some soul searching to do right now. The regular season has just not gone the way that they had hoped. Regular season record-wise, I don't believe they're even in the top 3 right now in the WNBA, which is kind of crazy considering how dominant they've been the last couple of years. So, going forward between now and the end of the WNBA season, don't go too crazy with Aces money line. Whenever they come into games like this against the Sun, against the Liberty, I believe they play the Lynx again. I would definitely bet against the Aces on the money line. They are not winning these games right now.
All right. So you lost a little, but we learned a little last night with Dylan Cohen on Beat the Book. So what are you betting on today?
So today we're going to stick with baseball. Got a couple of picks. The first one is in the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates matchup. And this one is going to be teeing off here in about 10 minutes. So definitely make sure to get this pick in quick. Looking at this pitching matchup, the Pirates have Paul Skeens going tonight. The Reds have Nick Lodolo on the mound. And I know typically when Paul Skeens plays, we like to play his strikeouts. However, he has not been doing that well with the strikeouts lately. His prop for over-under on strikeouts has not been hitting over his most recent games. And I figured in this matchup, it'd be better to not play the strikeouts. I'm actually looking at a different kind of player prop that we haven't done on this segment before, where you're betting on how long the pitcher is going to last in the game. So you're betting on the number of outs the pitcher records in the game. In this case, my pick is for Nick Lodolo to get over 16 and a half outs recorded versus the Pirates. So that means he needs to play at least 5 full innings, and then he needs to record at least 2 outs in the 6th inning or more. As long as that happens, then that bet wins. Nick Lodolo has started against the Pirates once already this season. He played a full 7 innings in that matchup. He has got at least 17 outs or more in 3 out of his last 5 games. His last 2, he did not hit this metric, but he was going up against much better offenses, essentially. And the Pirates are notoriously one of the worst hitting teams right now in baseball. He gets to play them in Pittsburgh, so it's a less hitter-friendly stadium than Cincinnati Stadium, which is the most hitter-friendly stadium. So there's a lot of good factors that are contributing to, what should be Nick Lodolo recording at least 17 outs in this game or more. So make sure to take his over on outs recorded.
All right. Hey, the Berg says, is there an option for a futures bet for Rattlers to win the indoor championship?
Oh, God, I didn't even know that they offered lines on arena football. That just sounds irresponsible.
I think Berg maybe
Actually, you know what? I changed that. If we're betting arena football, just take the over on every single game, because that just seems to happen. All they do is they just score. So maybe that's probably the way you want to play that.
But also, Berg, 1-800-NEXT STEP.
Big Jake says he's got Diamondbacks, Twins, Dodgers parlay that hit for him last night. Good for you, man. He had Twins in the money line, Diamondbacks in the money line, Dodgers in the money line. $15 gave him $77.94.
Nice hit there.
Yeah. Ghetto Girl says, ask about AI for betting. Well, he doesn't want to talk about AI for betting. I mean, I don't want to talk about AI for doing this show. I mean, I don't think AI is sophisticated enough to do a whole lot right just yet, but I don't need to hasten somebody taking my job. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on AI betting, Dylan?
We're going to speak with our Fourth Dimension resident expert, Lost Toby, tomorrow. We're gonna learn more about it, and again, kind of right now, it's difficult to kind of piece together how you apply the AI to consistently make reliable bets. But if Lost Toby has pioneered something, I'd love to learn more about it. Definitely in the future, though, once these systems get a bit more sophisticated, tons of potential with, utilizing that to make, even sharper picks. Absolutely. There is one other play that I do have for tonight that I just want to touch base on real fast. It's the Astros and the Orioles game. Look to play the over total run line in this. I just happened to check it, and it just adjusted downward to 7.5 runs. So my second pick is for there to be at least 8 runs or more in that game. Take the over on the run line. The Orioles have Corbin Burns pitching tonight, who is their ace pitcher, but he does have a tendency over his last few games to be allowing a lot more runs than normal, particularly at home. He's got 10 earned runs in his last 2 home games, 20 earned runs out of his last 4 starts. And then on the other side, the Astros have Spencer Arrighetti pitching tonight. On the road, Spencer Arrighetti's ERA is significantly higher. It's over 6. So with the combination of Arrighetti giving up runs on the road and Burns giving up runs at home should lead to us being able to hit the over on the total runs in that matchup.
All right, so there you go. Beating the book with Dylan Cohen's got Nick Lodolo over 16.5 outs versus the Pirates, and Astros versus the Orioles give them over 8 on the runs scored. Let's see how we do tonight, and we will talk to you about all this tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow out there at the Dave & Buster's at the Tempe Marketplace for the Daily Blender Fantasy Football Draft Party.
Can't wait.
Take it easy, man. We'll see you. 888-368-1580. Boogie says, I'm trying to keep this simple, so I'm just going to get straight money line. Oh, wait. Is Dylan gone? Oh, he was asking about Rough Riders or Argonauts. Damn. Sorry, man. You're going to have to flip a coin on that one. Chief Skull says, is Randy just AI, Jeffrey?
I mean, why would you ask that? What about Randy has led you to question his reality?
First off, if he was AI, I wouldn't tell you he was AI. But I'm going to tell you right now he's not AI, because AI is not that creative, quirky, or weird. You would be able to tell. I can tell when I'm hearing AI recorded video, audio. When they do, like those videos online, I can tell when it's fake. Randy is not fake. Average Joe says, Jeffrey, how can you say that about Sister Jean from Loyola? Doesn't she remind you of your aunt? Can't imagine that. No. Look at this. This is not. Sister Jean looks nothing like my aunt. Nothing. Sister Jean's a smoke show, baby. Look at that. Sorry. T-Licious says that Cerveus let the cheating bastard Astros get back in first place. Yeah, off with his head. Sir Drives a Lot says, I'm with Keon. Kind of uncomfortable right now.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
I don't get it. I don't know what your problem is. She's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. Boogie says, actually, the most interesting man in the world is just an AI clone of Randy. I think he's not. I don't think he's wrong. Big George says, man, that was a long silence. I thought the stream dropped. Yeah, you know what? Let's see. No, it didn't trigger the dead air alarm. That's good. Let's see. Pull the Plug says, NIL charge for opening drinks. Let listeners send other listeners to the gallows for a fee.
I just don't think that's the kind of power that you can be trusted with. Fourth Dimension.
NIL charge for opening drinks? I don't get that. What does that mean?
Yeah, that you are going to have to explain that one.
I get to let listeners send other listeners to the gallows for a fee, but it's a slightly annoying gallows. It's not the dead people gallows. Baker's Cocky Hen says, I like watching Sister Jean watch basketball while I listen to Like a Virgin. I would take that song, Sister Christian. I just switch it out for Jean. Lost Toby says, is that the old lady from Courage the Cowardly Dog? It might be based on her.
That's Muriel. Yeah.
Pull the Plug says, when they say open a beer. Yeah, I'm still not really tracking you right now. Let's see. Taco Kenny says, AI, we talking about practice, man. Practice. Beer me, please. No, not that AI. Not Allen Iverson. Pull the Plug says, or whiskey over the rocks. Pull the Plug, you're just shouting things in the world. I'm sorry. I'm really just not following you, man. All right, let's take a break. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices. Just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Attention all Arizona workers. You may be entitled to receive earned paid sick time. Every Arizona employer is responsible for keeping track of your hours and recording how much earned paid sick time is available under state law. Posters about paid sick time and minimum wage laws also need to be posted in every office. Get posters and learn more at azica.gov. That's azica.gov. This message is sponsored by the Industrial Commission of Arizona.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Kick off fall with Labor Day deals happening now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on select interior paint via Lowe's gift card rebate for your next paint project. Plus, don't miss out on select 1-pint annuals. Get 5 for only $5. Shop these can't-miss deals today before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
8-Out presents Terrifying Jobs.
Bull Rider, take 2.
Today we're talking with Clifford Maxwell, a rodeo bullfighter. His job? Distract raging bulls from going after thrown riders. Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah. Distracted drivers terrify me.
This message is brought to you by ADOT, the ABA, and this station.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
this is fire.
Actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the six-pack?
Bingo.
That's what we thought. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Good luck.
Dave Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Rainy City Bitch Pigeon says, hey, forget the nickname change. Can I change my draft order? No, you can't. Sorry. Whatever draft position you got, that's what you get. That is life. You think I'm happy with number 6 out of 12 in Premier League? No, there's only like 2 or 3 people on the planet happy with their draft order at any given time. And it doesn't get to be you, and it doesn't get to be me. And that's just the way it is. Lost Toby says, I got my AI speech ready for the draft. Okay, now keep in mind, it's just you and Dylan Cohen talking. We're not going to bore everybody else with all this. You know, I'm interested. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to have like a podium.
Yeah, it's not a TED talk.
Yeah, it's a Dylan Cohen talk. That's what you're having right there. Sir Drives a Lot says, I'm happy with the draft order. See what I'm saying? Only a few damn people are happy with the draft order. Anyway. Oh, hey, do you think Rick Pitino's mad? I feel like maybe he's mad because I guess somebody broke in and stole his sword and a bullhorn from his office. What? Yeah, I guess, yeah. First off, I don't know why he has a sword in his office, but it's a ceremonial sword and a bullhorn over there at St. John's. And I guess somebody broke in and took it.
Swords are cool. That's why I assume it's in his office. Randy's got a sword.
No, swords are cool. I just don't know if a coach needs a sword.
It's not a need.
On a regular basis. Are you knighting people when you say you're a starter? I hereby dub you starter.
That would be the coolest way I've ever heard of choosing somebody as a starter. But I don't think that that's what he does. I just think he thinks swords are cool. And he's in his office a lot. You put cool stuff in your office.
Should have locked the door. But I guess he's very mad. He's very upset. Also, expensive bottle of wine was missing as well. Then later he says, no, it's not. I'm kidding. There's no wine. Why would you joke about that?
I don't know. Why would
that's bizarre? Here's what it says. Pitino initially posted to social media that he was really upset about an expensive bottle of wine that was also missing from his office, but he later posted that he was just joking.
That's weird. Rick Pitino's weird, and he's always doing weird stuff. So
Anyway, I'm not mad. Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't your stuff.
Sounds like a prank. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know. I think that sounds like theft. I don't know what prank is. Just you take things that a person likes but doesn't need.
Oh, Lost Toby says, no. He says, I prepared a speech using AI about how I'm going to dominate the draft and league.
Oh,
well, I'll let you read that. How long is it? Long as it's not too long, I'll let you give your speech. And then you and Dylan go off and talk about AI betting and stuff. I mean, I'll give you like 30 seconds. Do we have that?
seems
Do
long
we
enough.
have the clock where he is, like I say, put 30 seconds on the clock? Do we still have that? Haven't done that in years. You don't have a contest clock there?
I have never used it.
Well, hit it. Let's see if it's working.
What do you mean? What do you mean hit it? Where is it?
It's not my job to know.
I have never used it. Nobody trained me on it.
Is there anything on the button bar there that says contest or buzzer or beat the buzzer or
No.
30 seconds?
I've never seen that in my life.
Really?
No.
You're a producer. Produce something.
Okay, I can get one on there now
we
that
have
I know.
a perfect one. I edited together years ago.
Well, okay.
It's like and there goes at the end. 30 seconds on the clock.
Okay, well, I can't produce something that I don't have in front of me. It's not here. And if it is here, it has some name that I don't know what the name is, and I have to press every single button to find out.
We've
You're
had a
gonna
lot of
hear,
wing
like,
nuts.
an eagle screech and a Jeopardy sound. Like, well, we don't have to do all that.
We have a lot of wing nuts that have worked that board. You know what I mean? And then that,
So I've heard.
then that dope Josh deleted the entirety of our library, and Randy had to rebuild it.
Yeah, Randy wasn't happy about it as he was explaining it to me.
Anyway,
he was not thrilled.
so do me a favor, email me, and I'll find the beat the buzzer in my computer or something.
All right, we'll do.
Because I love that, because it's very stressful. You say, all right, 30 seconds on the clock. You give them 30 seconds, but that music in the background, the flight of the bumblebees, or I don't know what it is, Valkyries. I don't know. And it's very stressful. And then it follows at the end with a big old. So I love it. Raven Kid says wingnut's actually a light term for the people who have worked that board. Yeah, I'm being kind.
Well,
Rainy City Bitch Pigeon says, I think Patino is upset because it's part of the Rick Pitino co-ed first date kit. Some big steel and a bottle of red. That actually tracks. Big George says, didn't we have the 30-second buzzer when we used to have listeners call up about 15A the Fanatic as many times as they could, with the listener winning $100 for however many times they say it? No. I don't remember that. I remembered anytime a certain ex-co-host used to talk about Arizona, he had that 30 seconds. That's all he'd get.
That's funny.
Because we just couldn't put up with it any more than that. And I interrupted through most of that 30 seconds to try to dull the pain of whatever it was. So Lost Toby says, I need to work on my Trump voice. Short version. Oh, well, no, here, if you're going to read that, I'm not going to read it out loud. So I'll just read it and see, yeah, that's not bad. That's not too much. You can read that. So there's been a lot of weirdness today in the world of college football. First, you got Coach Kirk Ferentz, from Iowa, an assistant, got suspended for recruiting violation. They each got a 1-game suspension for recruiting violation, I guess, because they communicated with Cade McNamara when he was out of the transfer portal or something like that. Do you know about this? Why? And he admitted it. He's like, yeah, I did that thing. Did they get him on the team? Were they actually able to recruit him? Or was it just the fact they talked to him when they weren't supposed to talk to him?
Yeah, I think that's what happened, that they spoke to him when they weren't supposed to. If the player if they state their intent to put their name in the transfer portal and they have not actually done it, you can't try to recruit them until they've officially done that.
I guess Coach Kirk Ferentz was like, yeah, you know what? Listen, go ahead, suspend me for a game. I'm from Iowa. There's not much to care about, so I don't care.
Well, it's not like that football team has scored points ever, but yeah, that's
yeah. We're going to score exactly the same amount of points as we would have before. So my job's safe.
So, I mean, this is their attempt at trying to get some kind of offense. So I get that, but yeah, they.
I'm sure the people who run the college are like, it was worth a try.
It didn't actually result in more points. So, because this was 2022, you know how
Wait
the
a minute,
NCAA moves.
McNamara actually did go to Iowa.
Yeah.
Well, then it worked.
It did. It worked. Yeah. But he's just now getting caught for it because the NCAA is slow.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Another school, Miami, Ohio. Wait, what? What the hell's wrong with Ohio? You can't have a Miami in Ohio.
They have a Miami in Ohio.
That angers me more than anything I can think of right now.
The first time I ever played the NCAA football game in high school, and then I had Miami of Ohio on the schedule, I was so confused because I was looking at the uniforms and I'm like, that's not Miami. Then you see the little Ohio mark over in the corner, and I'm like, okay, got it. It's just Miami of Ohio.
You know what? Then I'm glad this happened to them because they're mad, saying that Alabama, stole their kicker. Mad as hell about it. Chuck Martin, the coach of Miami, Ohio, was like, Alabama stole our kicker. They illegally recruited our kicker and stole him from us. That's a fact. Alabama stole our kicker. A couple other schools tried to steal him, but Alabama stole our kicker. There's so many things to get upset about in life.
Yeah. I mean, when you say stole, do you mean Kirk Ferentz and talking to a player when he shouldn't have stole? Because if they just recruited him from the transfer portal, you just lost him in the transfer portal.
Yeah, it was just the transfer portal.
Yeah, then I don't know what to tell you. Alabama is a better program, and they're going to steal players. That's what they do. That's what all the big programs do.
It's no surprise that somebody from Ohio can't figure this out. Swazman says Rapesberger went to Miami, Ohio.
He did.
Well, then they should be used to people not taking no for an answer.
Oh my God. Well, he didn't. Well,
yeah.
As we know of, he didn't do it there.
I thought he did. It was when he was in college.
Oh, because he got in trouble for stuff in the NFL too. His rookie year, he also had I thought when you say Rapesberger, I always thought the rookie year stuff was stuff you were referring to. I didn't know, but
I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't college. Maybe it was rookie year. Lost Toby says, well, we got Baghdad, Arizona. Yeah, but we don't have a Baghdad, Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe we do. I'm just saying that's not such a common name, but Miami is a big city name. So then have Miami, Ohio is dumb as hell. It's bad enough we have Globe Miami right over here east of the valley. It's like, don't call yourself Miami. There's enough Miami. Stop with the Miami. Okay? If you're hearing me right now and you happen to be living in Miami, move. Seriously. Just like yourself more than you do right now and leave. Just time to come over here. There are jobs. Come on. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. Do you ever play NHL 25 EA Sports hockey game?
I don't, but I haven't played any sports game in a long time.
I've played back in the past. I played this game, and I was like, this is really fun. It was actually pretty fun. I always say, it's more fun to play hockey than it is to watch hockey. And so NHL 25, they've got Jack, Luke, and Quinn Hughes on the cover together. These three brothers right here kind of makes me think back to the Hanson brothers from Slapshot. I don't know if it's only the deluxe edition or not, but that's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
You and your brothers there on the cover. Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes, Quinn Hughes, John Hughes, all the Hughes. They're all right there. So Big George says, what about Phoenix, Oregon? Yeah, they should move too. I mean, seriously, there should be a law. You can have a bunch of Springfields. It's not a major city, but if you have a major city, the other places need to change their name. So Phoenix, Oregon should change their name to something else. If you want to be like, oh, we like it there, so it's like we're friends. Okay, well, how about Hot as Balls, Oregon? But don't call yourself Phoenix. Lost Toby says there's Portland, Maine. Whichever Portland came first. But when you hear the word Portland,
I think
which one do you think of? I don't mind. Portland needs to be hosed down anyway. Change the name and hose it down.
I mean,
filthy place.
At least by Europeans, Maine was discovered first, so I can't imagine that Oregon wound up.
Which one's a bigger deal? Does Portland, Maine have an NBA team?
No, Portland, Oregon's the bigger deal.
Well, there you go. Then Portland, Maine's going to change the name.
but they were first.
I don't care anymore. I don't care which one ends up with Portland. Let somebody else fight it out. I'm just saying, major cities should. Yeah, I've said what I've said. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 Fanatic.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Not all policies will qualify. Not available in all states.
As fall approaches, you have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, sporting events, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, no matter what you're prepping for, you can prioritize your family's health and make a game plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Volunteer now. Help vulnerable and oftentimes overlooked children in Arizona. The Foster Care Review Board is a panel that advises our juvenile courts on the best interests of children in out-of-home care. Volunteer now. You can change the life of a child for the better. Visit azcourts.gov/volunteer to learn about the Foster Care Review Board. That's azcourts.gov/volunteer. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Supreme Court.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmansolar.com.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be around tomorrow. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. As we broadcast live in the Harman Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Man, it went faster than I thought it would go. It went faster than I thought it would ever go. And I'm talking about the fame of some of the people from the Olympics. Do you remember the Olympics? It was just like last week, right? The week before. It just happened.
Not that long ago.
And now we forgot. I don't know the name of the woman who pretended like she could break dance. I don't remember much of it.
Well, that's Reagan. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's too funny. I'll never forget.
Well, that's not a real name.
Rachel.
I don't remember anything. But and I also I didn't know because they were like, hey, you know the guy, the pommel horse guy? Do you know who I'm talking about when I say that?
I am not gonna lie, I never remembered his name. So
right, but you know who it is?
I know his face. Like I never knew his name in the first place. I couldn't have forgotten it. I didn't know it.
Well, he got momentarily famous for falling asleep and wearing his glasses. I think that's what it was. There's some picture of him. Well, this is the guy right here. Remember him?
Yeah, I
That
remember
guy.
him. Yeah.
Okay.
Like he was asleep. His only event was pommel horse. They woke him up. He did the pommel horse. He went back to sleep.
Mm-hmm. No,
Then he won gold.
I gotta tell you, I am more impressed with the fact he could do that than the fact he could pommel horse.
He woke up.
Yeah, just being able to
Knocked
go to
it.
sleep. People are screaming and making noises. You just fall asleep, and they're like, "Hey, you got to do your thing." What? Okay, I got it. And then you do it, and he won a medal, and then he goes right back to sleep.
Yeah, highly athletic
God, I wish-
event, and then he went right back to taking his nap.
I haven't slept well in months. Like, and I see I'm just very
have to-
jealous.
Yeah.
But Steven Nedoroskic,
if you say so.
You sure he's American?
He is. Well, that's how a lot of people. America. This is an immigrant country. There's a lot of immigrants here. Of course, he's American.
What kind of name is that? Where's that from? I wonder?
Probably Polish. It sounds like.
Nedoroskic, whatever. Steven, let's just go there. Well, he, he's milking that last moment of fame that he has. Because when he came back from the Olympics, he was on the Tonight Show and he did a thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's the guy with the glasses. Oh, it's the guy who fell asleep." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, moving on." So then they're moving on. But he's already when somebody gets famous, right? Let's say an actor. The actor works on it, gets an audition, doesn't get it. Goes out there, goes to an audition, doesn't get it. Happens over and over and over and over. Boom! Finally gets a small part. Ooh, now he's getting auditions, and maybe he gets another small part. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, he's on a TV show." That, oh my God! Now he's a real actor, and people that doesn't have to audition. He shows up, they just give him parts, and oh my God, he's in the movies, and this is amazing. And then that movie didn't do so well. Okay, now he's well, they're not calling him anymore for the auditions, and he's not getting any work. And what's the next thing that happens, Keon? What do you do when you're at the tail end of your fame? What do you do?
What do you do?
Dancing with the Stars.
No.
Steven
No.
has leapt right to that point. He is going to be on Dancing with the Stars. He
Well-
doesn't understand that this means the absolute end of any notoriety he might have had.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
This is quick. This
But
is
I-
like Olympic style quick.
But Dancing with the Stars, you don't do that. And Dancing with the Stars makes you irrelevant. You are becoming irrelevant, and then you do Dancing with the Stars.
Well, that's exactly what just
so
happened.
so for him, it's just like, what other choice do you have? People
It's
don't.
over.
No, let me not say people. It's actually very popular in other countries that aren't here. Americans don't watch gymnasts at any other time besides the Olympics. They have their world championships every year. We don't watch that. He'll be in that. We're not watching, and we won't watch the next one, and the one after that, and the one after that. The next time we'll see this dude, if we see him again, because gymnast careers are like NFL running back careers, they're not that long, will be the next Olympics. So you might as well do Dancing with the Stars, man. Make this thing last as long as you can. You
They
have no
might
choice.
usher him off the stage while he's dancing. No, you got to go now. You got to go.
You're just not even famous
No,
for
you
this
gotta
enough
go.
anymore. Oh, no.
Fish Tank says, "Tell me the pommel horse guy took a sponsorship from like NyQuil or Ambien." No,
I sure
nothing-
hope so.
Nothing I've
Just
seen or
at
heard
least,
of.
At least in that brief fame arc, at least cram a commercial in there.
Kiss the Cook says, "Porn tape."
That is another way, but
Well, you either go porn tape or you go Dancing with the Stars.
the problem with porn tape is that if you're a guy, people tend not to remember the guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
he'll be just as forgotten.
Like Kim Kardashian had sex with somebody. Most people don't know who that is.
And he was a somebody at the time.
Yeah.
Chosen One says, yes, Stephen is Polish. Okay. Quiet Cannon says, main memory of the Olympics, do not poop on the beach, please. Well, that wasn't even from the Olympics. That was the Canadian Canadian mayor coming out saying, hey, folks, could we not poop on the beach, please?
It was like the day of the Olympics ending.
No, the Olympics was, hey, we're all going to go poop in the water to protest.
that was
the $1.5 billion they spent to make the river clean that didn't work.
Because you don't mess with the French taxpayer. Those people will be in the streets rioting for any small change in their benefits. You just don't do that. It's a bad idea.
But Quiet Cannon's right. If we remember anything at all, don't poop on the beach.
You can't.
Can we please just not poop on the beach?
Have some decorum, at least.
And don't forget that today is Sister Jean's birthday.
I would really like to forget that now.
I'm just saying it's her birthday. That's all I'm saying. It's her birthday.
If that's all you said, I wouldn't need to forget it. You just said other things that haunt my mind.
You just got to catch her right after, like, water aerobics or something, where she's already stretched.
At no point,
she's already.
I just don't even want to think about that on any level. It's horrific.
Fish Tank says, Ray J. Put some respect on that man's name.
No, I know it was Ray J. But the only career that probably could have survived that is Ray J. I'm just saying. Most people don't know.
Big George, does your wife still watch Dancing with the Stars? He says, I had to watch that at Wife Point when Cody from Peloton was competing a few years ago.
I'm sorry, what?
Who's Cody from Peloton?
You mean one of the trainers from the bike?
I've never done Peloton. Have you?
Well, no, I've only ever seen the commercials. I'm not going to pay for a Peloton.
I remember that terrified looking girl who was like, my boyfriend got me this Peloton. I'm going to set it up and do this. Like, he's off camera, just kind of like doing one of these things. She was terrified.
Terrified. Peloton's
the world wanted to rescue her from that abusive relationship.
They're $1,000. I'm willing to bet that he was just like, you're going to like it too, because
$1,000. But hey, what a small price to pay to kill your child. They were falling over on kids and squishing them. They got recalled. There was a whole big thing about it. Then you don't see the Peloton commercials anymore.
So just think $1,000 for a stationary bike is very dumb. And then a subscription service, because if you want the screen to have all the trainers and the bike classes, you got to pay for that. And that's a monthly fee on top of the $1,000 you already spent on the Peloton.
You can go down to Walmart right now and get a bike for like under $100.
You can.
You just ride it around someplace.
There are stationary bikes for less than that, even.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they're crappy. But
I'd just rather ride. I'd rather ride a real bike, personally.
Yeah.
A little hot for that, I guess. Kiss the Cook says, okay, I'm not reading that.
Oh, God, Kiss the Cook. What did you do?
I'm not sure what he's saying, but it doesn't look right.
It's better to not take your chances.
Yeah. Randy's Chuckle says French pole vaulter, probably going straight to porn. Oh, that guy. Yeah, probably. Average Joe says, so what do you really think it would be like? Oh, okay, I'm not reading that about Sister Jean. Holy God. Quiet Cannon says, how about them Diamondbacks? How about Torey Lovello? 2 games behind the best record in baseball as of today. Really? I thought they were 4 games back. How did they all of a sudden get 2 games back? Is that correct? Or no. Diamondbacks were 3 games back. You're right. Wait, no.
Hold on,
I'm
let's
confused.
Get to
Let me check the standings. Let me check it while I happen to be in the neighborhood. Hold on here. Standings.
Yeah, they're at the top of the wild card. So if you're looking at the
you're right.
National
No,
League,
4 games back, guys. 4 games back.
4 games behind the Dodgers.
Yeah, 4 games back and tied with the Padres of San Diego. So, or is that? Wait. Yeah, that's right. Dick Whiskers has a new number in case somebody cares.
Okay.
And Dick Whiskers says, my wife made me sleep on the couch for a week during the Olympics. I was enjoying women's volleyball way too much, and she still hasn't forgotten. Well, yeah, let that be. You got to learn a poker face, my friend.
It's just you can't just look at it and go, oh, those women are attractive without like awooga. Your eyes are coming out of your head.
No, you say nothing. You're smart. You say nothing.
How else would she know, though? He had to have said something.
It might have been the look on his face. That's what I'm saying. Poker face plus be quiet.
Were you doing the lip bite? Like what? I'm trying to understand how it was possible for her to even know that.
Fish Tank says a kiss from Sister Jean Tastes like the Great Depression. There's no way I could be depressed making out with Sister Jean.
Just nothing. All of the sounds you made me sad. They're still making me sad. That's
sad. You're just lonely. You can't get no Sister Jean like me.
I'm not and don't want to, actually.
President Wallet says, yeah, listen, that's a Dick Whiskers, that's a rookie move. You can't masturbate on the couch while you're watching girl volleyball and not expect your wife to get upset. Yeah, if that was
if that's the move there, giveaway. Like that's just obvious. So in fact, the couch is light. Most wives would have put you on the porch.
Yeah, unless you're single, that shouldn't be happening. Baker's cocky hen says if he was allowed to poke her face, he wouldn't be sleeping on the couch, Jeffrey. What? Poker face? Who said it? No, you got to keep and have it. Oh, forget it. All right. So this cracked me up. I saw this news story. Nathan Rourke. Does that sound familiar to you? Nathan Rourke?
Nathan Rourke.
Quarterback Nathan Rourke?
Can't say that it does.
I think he was, who was he with? He was with an NFL team for like a minute. I think he was with the Falcons. He spent some time with the Jaguars, the Patriots, the Giants, and the Falcons. That's right. But he never got into a game. And he's like, okay, this ain't going anywhere. And so he was like, how about I go back to Canada? So he goes back to Canada, and Nathan Rourke has become the CFL's highest paid player. Nobody gets more money than Nathan Rourke. And he's got a contract now for over $600,000 a year. Okay. Now, that's more than I make.
Yeah. And look, if you're playing professional football and that's your dream, yeah, you'd rather be playing on Sundays in the NFL, but you play football for a living.
He would have you know that's 809 Canadian dollars.
I don't think that's true.
It doesn't make it better. No, 809,000. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. For once, our dollar is worth more than theirs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a problem. I mean, it's the only issue is that some guy that couldn't crack a roster in the NFL became the highest paid player in the Canadian Football League.
Let me
just immediately he tried playing there once in 2021, tried to make the NFL thing work for a couple of years. It did not work. He went back and became the highest paid player in that sport.
Nathan Rourke is walking, swishing his shoulders back and forth, being like, hey, I got me $600,000 a year. That's per year. All right.
That's
right now the minimum salary in the NFL, $795,000.
Yeah, but the NFL's a bigger sport. Like, why should he feel bad? He's a professional football player.
That's the biggest league, the contract that the CFL can do. No wonder nobody there is any good.
It's the CFL. It's not their first sport. It's not their second sport. That's not. The CFL is not that popular in Canada. The people that like it love it. Most of my friends from Canada are just not into.
You have friends from Canada?
I have
or
friends
talking like the internet?
all over the place. Like
internet people.
Some internet people, but also people I met in college.
Gonna say I don't know. By the way, there's a storm starting to brew. Really? I just heard the windows here just start rattling. My dog was just like, "What the hell?"
I wonder if it's headed north or if it's headed, in the other directions, because it's sunny over here in Scottsdale.
Yeah, I'm over here in Queen Creek, and the windows are rattling.
Oh, God. So that's not great. I mean, I'm going to be driving into a storm after work. So lovely.
Congratulations. Silver Pop says, if Sister Jean ever started listening to heavy metal, she could start a band called Twisted Sister Jean. That'd be awesome. I would be in the front row. Berg says, is the Iditarod popular in Canada? That's a good question.
Isn't that the only place it runs?
I thought that was in Alaska.
That's true.
Hold on. Where?
Oh, I don't know anything about the Iditarod.
Iditarod. No, not Iditarod. Yeah.
What did you actually type?
It's all right. I got it. It's Anchorage and Nome, Alaska. I was correct. That's only Alaska, so I don't think they give two craps or a poo about what we're doing in Alaska. I guess. I don't know. Have to ask a Canadian. Lost Toby says it's not that he couldn't crack a roster, so he couldn't start. Yeah, he'd get on the roster and just sit around. But I mean, get on the roster and get the league minimum better than he wanted to play.
Yeah, you want to play.
God bless that Canadian fool.
You want to. Well, he's not from Canada, I don't think. Oh, never mind. He is actually. He's from Victoria.
I know my Canadian rich guys.
But yeah, you want to play. That's what you played the sport for all of those years, is for an opportunity to go out there and show what you can do. And you'd love to do it at the NFL level, but the fact is everybody can't. There are 32 starting jobs in the NFL. If you don't have one, you're sitting on a bench.
Tiger Paws just sent me a photograph. Where is that photograph? Because I see it almost looks like two haboobs. So basically, Tiger Paws showed me her boobs, her haboobs right here. But it does. It looks like two. There's like a little line right there over by Cafe Rio and something else.
Are they competing?
They're side by side. So it might be cleavage in the haboob.
It could be a race. Like
where is that
race?
Lost Toby says, I just drove down from Flagstaff. It was raining, so storm's coming. But if it's over here in Queen Creek and you had something up there and there ain't nothing happening in Scottsdale, which direction is this thing going? Baker's Cocky Hen says, Canadians come to Alaska to race in the Iditarod. Those Canadian French dogs smoking their cigarettes really aren't the best with endurance. Oh, yeah, that's bad for your cardio. They're like, woof, woof. A bark, bark. Big Jake says, I got a good one. I can mention the fine beach volleyball assets, and my lady just agrees with me. Oh, so you sit there on the couch and you'll mention, oh, look at her. And your girl will be like, you're right, honey. But you got to understand, Jake, you're young, aren't you? You must be young, because eventually that's going to bite you on the ass. And it's not going to be today, tomorrow, the next day. It's going to be months later. You're going to be in the garage. You're going to be like picking something like, hey, honey, can you come help me with this? Why don't you have one of your stupid volleyball girls help you? Slam. And then, you know, she's going to be locked in a room for like 8 hours. You must be young, Big Jake. You must be young. Kiss the Cook says, you got a thing for Sister Jean? Didn't she circumcise Jesus?
Personally, I don't.
I understand it won't cut. Are you Superman?
She's 105, not 2000.
Hefty Lefty says, "Don't knock a gummer until you try it." Keelan.
Oh my God! I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. That's how my day is gonna stay on track. Is after whatever break we take here in a moment, I'm going to just pretend I didn't hear that at all. That was never said.
Okay,
nor was it heard.
I'll get this out of everybody's mind. When we come back, I've got something that is so much more disturbing. You won't remember of my inappropriate love for Sister Jean. So when I come back, you'll only remember this horrific thing I'm about to tell you. And then after that, we'll move on and we'll talk some NFL football. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
I got tons of NFL football to talk about after, basically I'll rock your brain.
After traumatizing me on the radio show.
I'm traumatizing
more
you.
Than you have.
Yes, I'm traumatizing you to help untraumatize you.
Okay.
Kind of like if you're like, ow, my elbow, and I kick you in the shin, you're like, it made you forget about the pain in your elbow.
I'm gonna thank you for kicking me in the shin. Okay, whatever.
You're gonna thank me. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Advertisement sponsored by Allied Injury Group, not available in all states. This important message from Allied Injury Group reminds you that if you or someone you love was injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, you deserve financial compensation for your medical expenses, lost wages, pain, and suffering. Don't rely on insurance companies to look out for you. If you haven't spoken to an attorney, call our legal experts now. Work accident, truck accident, collision with an uninsured driver, or a slip and fall. Allied Injury Group has helped clients win hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. They're available 24/7 to take your call and fight for you. Remember, if you or someone you love suffered injuries in an accident that wasn't your fault, like being struck by a drunk driver, a collision with an 18-wheeler, were a victim of workplace negligence or more, get the financial compensation you deserve. Call Allied Injury Group for a free consultation now.
Call 800-894-6680. That's 800-894-6680. Again, 800-894-6680.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Fish Tank says, I want to thank the Blender because over the last 3 or 4 years, I've gotten so many house projects done while listening to this show, and it just makes it so much better. Prepping a bathroom for paint, new vanity at this moment. Without you guys, I'd never get anything done. Wow. I'd feel like with us, you'd never get anything done with us. You know what I mean? Like, that's contrary to what I would have even imagined.
Yeah, I would have assumed you'd just be so distracting. How could you accomplish anything?
I mean, I would hope that maybe some days people take an extra long way home just so they can hear the show more. But it never occurred to me that people got stuff done while listening.
Well, more power to you.
Feel like we're the opposite. But okay, man. You know, some people smoke weed and, they're very, very productive. Most people, not so much. So that
just like, yeah,
might be you, Fish Tank. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
1 in 20 people can actually pull that off.
So that makes me wonder, if you're listening to the show, do you find you get more stuff done with this show, or do you find it's the exact opposite? A lot of people are just listening, driving home from being productive. I don't know how many people actually listen to us at their actual work. So that is, I don't know. That's the kind of thing I want to like draw up some sort of survey and make them fill it out online or something, so we can get to know how you guys listen. Because I honestly don't know if this is a show that people are listening to while they're at work, and then they shut it off when they go home, or if they, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just never had a very clear picture of this. I think everybody's, got a different thing going there. But I mean, You drive home and get out of the car and we'd never hear from you again.
Some people are like that.
Or do you wait till you get home? Or do you listen there at your desk? I have no idea. Jet says, I, for one, listen to this show to live my life. There's always great advice, great content I can take throughout the rest of my life. And that's why the Jet's life is a disaster. That seems like a huge mistake.
The content, cool.
Mm-hmm.
The advice, sorry.
I'm not sorry. I give great advice.
That's
Big Jake says, yeah, I listen to the show while slacking from work. It's not the other way around. Of course, I do pools, so my truck is my mobile office. Okay, so you're listening at your desk. Technically.
Yeah.
Moist one says,
"Oh no,
I only listen at the public library."
I bet they hate you.
That's why a lot of rules have been changed. Oh, Hefty Lefty sent me that picture of Larry Bird tomato. So if you want to clear your palate, your memory of the things we were talking about with Sister Jean, and also looks like it's wearing a World War I helmet. I love the Larry Bird tomato. We should have that framed and in the studio. I'm going to save that right now. I'm going to actually get that picture framed and put it in the studio. Thank you, Hefty Lefty. Silver Pop says, I listen to the show at work and on my days off. Wow. So you actually go out of your way to hear it, that is, that I love that. Just never occurred to me. If it's on my day off, guess what I'm not doing?
but this is your job.
Now, I'm not listening to this show.
I don't listen to it either.
Zay says, old kitty is better than no kitty, Keon. Wilbur says, I think we need a t-shirt with Sister Jean on it. And all it says is, yes, I was there when he was circumcised. Swazman says, women's beach volleyball was my favorite. Aesthetically pleasing. Camera people had the best views, though. By the way, I confirmed the Haboobs have been floating through the Queen Creek. Donnie agrees because he lives in Queen Creek up the road. I just didn't last very long. The window shaking. It went away pretty quick. So I don't know what kind of storm we're actually going to get out there. But drive safe, everybody, because, man, them dust storms. Once the dust storms hit, I'll be honest, I don't remember the advice they always give. Something about pull over to the side, take your foot off the brake so people don't crash into the back of you. And I think, though, but if you don't have your foot on the brake and they can't see you, aren't they going to just crash into you anyway? I just never understood that advice.
Yeah. I've never understood it, but
explain it.
Randy was explaining it, and his explanation was people see the light and they think, oh, bleep, I'm not on the road anymore.
Right, go that way.
That person's where the road is, and then they follow you and then just hit you.
Yeah. Well,
so you're not. I don't think you're completely shielded from being hit if you pull over and take your lights off, but it gives you a better chance because people aren't directly looking at you as where the road is.
No, I get it. Well, I feel like, though, we should talk to a police officer about this. If you're a police officer, text us that we can talk to you on the phone about this, and maybe we'll give you a call. Because seriously, I get that. Don't have your foot on the brake because your brake lights look like a car that's driving down the road ahead. Somebody goes, oh, here's where the lane's supposed to be, and slam-o right in the back of you. But what's going to stop them from hitting you anyway? That's the part I'm not sure about. Kiss the Cook says German helmet and not an anteater. I don't understand what that means. Fish Tank says, yeah, I usually get off at 3, and a lot of times I'm just dreading some kind of housework or project that the lady wants me to do. Doing whatever the work is, occasionally texting in and laughing about the craziness makes it all bearable. You got good timing, I guess, being able to get home from work to be able to do that stuff. So that's awesome. Glad we could help out, man. Beach volleyball, says Big Jake. That's nice to watch. I'm not going to lie, though. I've got a new fondness for pole vaulting. Oh, the 3 ladies in the podium had lovely assets. We thought you were talking about the... I thought you were talking about... Okay, come on. Let's talk football. It's time to move on. Time to move. Oh, wait. I got to disturb Keon so he doesn't think about Sister Jean.
we already. Oh wait, I already stopped thinking about Sister Jean. No, oh, come on.
Okay, so this story is out of Thailand, so brace yourself.
Oh Lord! All right,
this is a real life nightmare for all of us men. All of us men. Now, here in Arizona, the worst thing that you can think is going to happen is you're going to get on the toilet, right, and a scorpion's going to like sting you in the nuts. That is an actual proper fear. I went in the bathroom I don't know, about a couple months ago there, and look over, and there's a scorpion sitting right on top of the toilet paper.
That's terrible. I've never had to deal with a scorpion.
Right. Oh, yes.
Fingers crossed that I continue.
Do you have a lot
luck,
of carpet or do you have a lot of tile?
Kind of 50-50, honestly.
Okay, so hear me out. if you're like, this has happened to me. Like I'm sitting in the bathroom and here comes a scorpion. You just take off your flip flop, bam, just smack the crap out of that thing and you'll be fine. But if you do it on the carpet, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Cause the carpet will take a lot of the force.
You're going to piss it off. So, do you have a lint brush?
Yeah.
Okay. You see a scorpion on the carpet, grab the lint brush, go over and hit them with it. It'll stick to it and then pull it off and they'll be like stuck to the lint brush. And then you carefully peel it over the top of them and then you bash the crap out of it some more, rip off the paper and throw them away.
Smart.
Yeah. That's been my thing. It changed Berg's life, by the way. I told Berg about this and he's like, oh, and he lives by it. And it is true. Lint brush.
I will keep that in mind. I just have not come across any scorpions yet.
I remember the first time I did. Come walking through my apartment. I was living in an apartment. I was single. I come walking and I had this cool nightshade that had it was like almost like a very thin leather. It was like almost like a cowboy lampshade. And I was like, do. I looked at it. I was like, scorpion design. Wait, there's no scorpion design on that.
What an odd design. Yeah.
So anyway, you here in Arizona, maybe you run into a scorpion. Maybe you'll run into a rattlesnake in the back, like in the yard or something. That can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, not in the regular city areas, but on the outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
In this guy's bathroom, though, he goes in there and he's like, all right, got to make sure because you never know, right? He said he flushed the toilet, make sure that whatever might be in there wouldn't be in there. Because evidently what I'm about to tell you, because of monsoons, this could be an issue.
Okay.
So he flushed it. He's like, all right, sits down and very quickly feels a sharp pain in his testicles. And he suddenly realized, oh my God, a python has bitten right into my nuts. He stood up and with him came the terrifying snake with its fangs dug right into his throat. He says he firmly grabs the snake, tried to rip it out of the toilet, but it was too strong. He was like, nope. And so he's like, ah. So he's looking around the room and he grabbed a toilet brush and he used it to beat the snake to death so it'd go limp and release his nuts. He actually, I got to give him credit.
That might be man of the
Beating
day.
a snake to death with a toilet brush. That doesn't sound like a very easy thing to do.
This might actually be a man of the day candidate.
So
while the snake is grabbing the scrot, I mean that's
yeah.
Oh my God.
Somebody walks by and looks in the oh geez, that's just you can't unsee that. This guy is going to have nightmares the rest of his life. So he grabbed the snake, dead, took it to the hospital. Everybody got tested. I don't know what they were testing the snake for, but yeah, he recovered. His testes are fine, and he's healing. And good news, that python was non-venomous, even though his testicles were just like, yeah, but still, that hurt.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that though? Sitting on the toilet and
I sadly can't imagine it. I just don't want to. I hate that I am.
There was probably a high-pitched scream that was heard for at least 20 square miles.
And for probably 1 solid minute.
Dear God.
It's terrible. That might be the worst thing I've ever heard.
If you're listening to this show and you're in Thailand, move. You need to move.
This is similar advice to earlier. Just love yourself more. Get out of there.
I don't know.
Because I don't want to live in a country where there are snakes in the toilet so often that he flushed it to begin with.
Yeah, he was already thinking about it.
And it didn't work.
I mean, I don't
It
know
had
at
no
what
effect.
point the snake actually released its grip on his nuggets.
The snake was no longer alive when that happened. I can promise you that.
No matter how long it took, it was too long.
Can't agree more. Can't agree more. It's
Just
terrible.
a normal Sunday morning turned into this freak show.
Just a horrific nightmare. Good God.
Keep that toilet brush handy. That killed a python. George wants to know if snakes carry rabies. I don't know. That's a good question, because what if they eat something that has rabies? That's actually a good question. Moist one says, so is he hitting his nuts with the brush? No, well, through the snake, yeah, I guess for a minute. Hefty Lefty says, hey, by the way, with that scorpion advice, or you could pick up the scorpion, get eye level with it, and look directly into its soul, let it sting you, then you become the Scorpion King.
You know what? You take that gamble if you'd
that's-
like. Understand that is not the advice of the Daily Blender and CRC Broadcasting. We will not be backing you up on that if you decide to make that decision on your own. However, if you become the Scorpion King, we're taking credit for that, obviously.
I think we should get some sort of honorable mention.
I mean, at least. The snakes don't carry the rabies, but they do carry salmonella. So
now this guy's got it coming and going.
Poor guy.
And he's not going. He's like, I'm not going back in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Kiss the Cook says, what are you banging on the carpet? We're talking about scorpions. Harley's Hammer says, leave the lid up always. Yeah.
That way you always see what's in there. Yeah, you don't sit down until you see that it's empty.
Yeah, even then though, if you leave the lid up all the time, now you got pythons crawling around your place. Like they're not going to stay in the toilet forever. So it comes up out of there and then just starts going around.
I guess that's true.
They don't just live there. So then
I'd rather
want a screen over that.
I'd rather encounter the python anywhere else in my house, to be honest. The toilet is not where I want that interaction to happen.
Swazman says the guy should have let the snake die and then have it sewn to him.
Why?
And then he could have been a new version of a porn star. I feel like that could get infected pretty quick, Swazman.
Yeah. Also, once it's dead,
yeah, you have a big old dead,
It's
rotten snake on your dangle.
That's not going to help you in any way. That's not marketable.
You have got to be stoned right now because that is the most stoner thought I think we've heard today. I'm thinking maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't be sure. Anyway, so there you go. How's that for disturbing?
Incredibly.
You want to hear something that's disturbing for the wrong reason? In Hartford, Connecticut, this Joseph guy is driving down the road and he's like, oh, there's a snake in the road. Oh, I don't want this poor guy getting ran over. So he goes over there and he's in Connecticut. Doesn't know any better. Oh, look at a snakey. Here's snakey. And he grabs the snake to take it out of the road so it doesn't get ran over. And the son of a bitch comes back and bites him. Turns out it was a rattlesnake.
Oh.
And he's in a coma.
That sucks.
His relative says it was surprising that anyone would try to pick up a rattlesnake.
Usually the sound gives it away.
Die of dumb right there.
I hope he's okay.
You don't have to run the snake over, try not, but
yeah, just try not to hit it. Like that's my rule with animals in the road is I'm going to try not to hit you. I will not, however, kill me to not kill you.
You think he'd know better because he's a guy who runs a landscaping business.
So like you, of all the people in Connecticut who would most likely encounter a rattlesnake and know what to do upon seeing one, you'd think it'd be that guy. But I guess since he's in a coma, probably not.
I didn't even know there were rattlesnakes in Connecticut, but turns out there's two kinds, a timber rattlesnake and a northern copperhead.
Well, now I know. I didn't know that either.
And it's on the endangered list, so it's illegal to kill. Guess what? Don't care.
Yeah, because if I'm him and I wake up out of that coma, the first thing I'm doing is killing a rattlesnake.
Oh, I guarantee you,
that's step one.
He's driving straight through any snake he comes across from here out.
It's Marshawn Lynch.
Kiss the Cook says, what hurts more? The snake biting that one dude in the nuts or having to beat the snake with a brush while it's on his nuts?
Clearly part two.
It altogether is bad. It's altogether bad.
Like, because if in the second part of that, part one is still happening, but you are now actively involved in moving around and jostling things in a very painful way. None of that is good. It's all bad.
The entire time the snake is like, which is translated to, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back, I swear to God, talking NFL football. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
As fall approaches, you have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, sporting events, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, no matter what you're prepping for, you can prioritize your family's health and make a game plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
Advertisement sponsored by Allied Injury Group, not available in all states. This important message from Allied Injury Group reminds you that if you or someone you love was injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, you deserve financial compensation for your medical expenses, lost wages, pain, and suffering. Don't rely on insurance companies to look out for you. If you haven't spoken to an attorney, call our legal experts now. Work accident, truck accident, collision with an uninsured driver, or a slip and fall. Allied Injury Group has helped clients win hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. They're available 24/7 to take your call and fight for you. Remember, if you or someone you love suffered injuries in an accident that wasn't your fault, like being struck by a drunk driver, a collision with an 18-wheeler, were a victim of workplace negligence or more, get the financial compensation you deserve. Call Allied Injury Group for a free consultation now.
Call 800-894-6680. That's 800-894-6680. Again, 800-894-6680.
It's election time. Make your vote count. Register to vote or check your voter registration by going to arizona.vote. Remember, elections are run at the local level by your friends and neighbors, and there are safeguards in place every step of the way to ensure your vote is counted accurately and securely. For more information and updates, visit arizona.vote, your trusted source of election information. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Secretary of State's office.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
1580, The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic, and congratulations to the NFL. It's been 1 year since you've had a gambling suspension. Well done. Nicely done. I'm actually shocked. That can't be right. But they're saying, yes, it has been a year. They have not suspended a player under the gambling policy in a year. And of course, baseball, basketball, well, there's been plenty of scandals there. So I'm not quite sure what football has done right. Well, maybe they're just bad at catching people. But I don't know what they've done right, but it seems to be working.
Yeah, I think what they've done right is the people that they have caught, they have just made examples out of them. You know, Calvin Ridley was the first big name, and he lost an entire season, and he hasn't been the same since, to be honest with you. And then you've had, you know, those players from the Lions. I believe Jameson Williams was one of those players, and he lost half of a season, which, you know, all of the accompanying game checks, I don't know if those were paid or not paid, but you're losing a lot of money or leaving a lot of money on the table if you get caught in the NFL gambling policy in a way that I think with other sports, it's easier to survive those penalties because they're just not as harsh. You miss 6 NFL games, it's almost half the season.
So you think everybody's taking it more seriously now because they know that all the different sports books are being very proactive in making sure that there's no weirdnesses, no collusion, no information, no anything, because that affects their bottom line so directly that they're like, oh, we're we're on top of this. We're constantly investigating to make sure no NFL employee or player or coach or assistant or ball boy or anybody is doing what they shouldn't be doing, because that messes with the book's bottom line.
Yeah, and their bottom line isn't just, when there's a little weirdness, but just credibility in general is their bottom line. Like if people lose faith in the sports books, if people lose faith in the NFL as well, to a degree, like there's just money that's going to be lost in all of this, and they don't want that. It's just a business decision. It's not even about how much they care. They want their money, and they're not going to be able to continue to get that money if people don't believe that these things are safe from being tampered with and being interfered with.
Yeah, and they're smart enough to be able to catch when something is weird. If there's an anomaly or anything is kind of off, they're like, wait a second, why all of a sudden is this being bet? Or what is this about? They take a look and they track stuff down. They have algorithms to do it, and then they have got human beings to do it. So
and your phone gives them so much data when you log into these apps. I mean, like it's constantly verifying your location, so you can't open up the app here in Arizona and then maybe in Tennessee or someplace have someone else use that same login. That's going to obviously flag something. And then if you're certain players definitely can't get away with it. Like no one's making that many bets on a second string player or a guy who maybe is in the game for one or two plays. So if you're making a lot of funky bets that way, that's another easy way for them to catch you. So the information that they have on you just by you logging into those apps, it's an insane amount of info.
Well, people are less likely to try to do something wrong if there's a good chance they're going to get caught. So good on them for being pretty good at that sort of thing. So 888-368-1580. Against the Spread says the best way to eliminate a python in your toilet. Okay, this has got to be the last text about this. He says you got to do a preemptive strike with superior firepower. Eat a couple Chipotle burritos. Get in there and drop an upside down Krakatoa neutron explosive bomb on that snake.
The snake's going to regret it.
Yeah, no, but I think that they will launch through that. You know what I mean?
Do you think so?
I don't think they're going to run away. I think they're going to try to, I don't know. I feel like don't live in Thailand. I think that's probably,
or any place where snakes commonly go up the toilet to the point where you have to check. That's a big red flag right there.
Ringless Joe says, I sense a plot to destroy the Cowboys. The dark side of the force surrounds Jerry Jones. They're the most successful and expensive franchise that exists in the NFL. Trust me.
Expensive.
He's fine.
Expensive.
As far as the product on the field goes, yeah, they're not going to do it.
There's a lot to be desired. And I don't think that you need to formulate a plan to take down the Cowboys on that side. They do it. They do it themselves.
This is interesting. The Jet says, speaking of apps, here's a little tidbit. He says, if you got insurance app on your phone, either delete it or make sure it's turned off, because the insurance companies can track your driving, especially when you speed or put in a lot of miles. Yeah, but you have to opt into that sort of thing.
Yeah, they give you a little thing to kind of work with the app so that they can get the data from that.
And if you're not doing that, why would you have their app on your phone?
Yeah,
I would never do that.
Just go to the website and pay there if that's how you're paying.
Nope. That's what the computer's for. All right. So, hey, Cardinals, here is the 411. By the way, my team is playing here in 10 minutes in preseason against the Bengals, so I don't give a crap. But yeah, when's the Cardinals preseason game start?
Cardinals preseason game is, let's see here. That will be Sunday.
Okay, it's Sunday.
1:30.
All right. Well, Clayton Tune is going to start that, and then Desmond Ridder will be up after that. And it's looking like, the number 2 quarterback. I don't know. They say it's Desmond Ridder, but I don't know. He's never looked very good.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they trust Clayton Tune to run the offense.
I know. And then again, it's like, okay, who are you playing against? What's going on? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Like you're playing against third stringers, and the defense is when they play cover two, it's the most vanilla cover two. They play quarters, it's as straight up as they're going to play it. Yeah, he's got a big arm in the preseason. He's playing third stringers. He ought to look good.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I don't care either. That's the other part. Just don't. So yes, it'll be Clayton Tune and then Desmond Ritter after that. I don't know what point they're going to do that. If each gets a half, I don't know what the plan is, but that is your future.
Tune could wind up being the starter. It's not like Desmond Ritter has separated himself in this big way. But
you mean the second stringer?
Yeah,
not the starter. Ringless Joe says, speaking of the Colts, can they pull off the upset tonight against, not tonight, but against the Texans week 1 at home? I got a feeling they can. I don't know if that's an upset, really. So the Texans are favored. I wouldn't go that far, man. I'll tell you what, Colts defense is looking pretty good this upcoming year, at least on paper. Can't tell anything by the short amount of time that you've been able to see them do anything in preseason. But
the Texans got Stephon Diggs to add to Tank Dell and Nico Collins. And I mean,
punks.
As far as wide receiver rooms go, that's one of the more stacked ones.
Punks. Not worried.
All right.
So my wife, loves her some Cardinals, and she goes to the training camp thing, and she strikes up a conversation with one of the Cardinals employees, and they're talking and just talking, and then at some point, the one lady's like, "Wow, you know a lot," to my wife, because my wife does, and she's like, maybe you. She's like, "Yeah, I mean, you work for the Cardinals," and the lady is like, "Well, they don't pay us much," and so
welcome to working in the NFL.
Well, now I'm worried because now that woman, I don't know that she was talking to, if she signed an NDA, but it turns out the Cardinals are using NDAs for a large number of the employees they have. And the ones that are leaving, they're like, well, I'll give you this money if you sign this NDA.
That's wow. That's nasty.
Multiple reports in recent months have come out and said, this is not a good place to work. And so now the Cardinals are like, here's what we're doing. Cash, sign this NDA. Cash, NDA.
And then, of course, you're not paying them very well. So, like, what choice do they have? that's the part where I'm like, that's just some nasty work right there. I don't know if I have ever seen an organization going left and right with the NDA since my organization used to do that. That's not a great sign at all.
Yeah, these are not great familiarities to the Washington Commandos.
Not good.
But if you don't care, you're like, give me the money. I'll sign that. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I'm just you're playing with fire if you have that many people out there. Because once if any story leaves that building, one person does not sign that NDA, the other people may not have to say anything.
Right. Somebody else will take care of this for us.
Then they could just agree.
So this lady, whose name I don't know and I would never tell you anyway, she had indicated to my wife a few things. One, they don't pay very well over at the Arizona Cardinals. 2, a lot of people are unhappy working there. 3, it's a lot of turnover because of that.
At some point, that's bad because the NDAs can't cover that up forever if you have that much turnover.
My wife's dream of working for the Cardinals died right at that moment.
Yeah.
And she's like, you couldn't afford me.
Say what you want about Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks and all the trouble that they got in. People like the money. The Dallas Mavericks were at least paying people well. How could you be a crappy organization and not pay the employees well? Like, that's the one thing, like, okay, at least this job is worth X amount of dollars. Lord, man.
Raven Kid says, you think the Cardinals will ditch Ritter for Tune? I saw a post saying that he's losing the backup job. I've had more than a few people tell me that in practice, not just the preseason games, in a lot of different places, it looks like Tune is outperforming Ritter. But again, it's not our eyes that matter. It's the eyes of the experts. So I'm not sure. And there's a lot of people saying that that's a thing.
Tune's younger. They could just be making him work for it, too. Teams do that all the time.
Tia says Michael Snyder. Dan Snyder. Who said Michael Snyder? Did you say Michael Snyder? You're combining Michael Bidwell and Dan Snyder into one person?
Not intentionally, anyway.
Woof. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580, the Fanatic.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation. Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you get the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
The road to better health leads to my longtime friends, Dr. William Gaspar and his wife Ava at Beehive IV Wellness in Chandler. JD Hayworth here, and the buzz about Beehive is spelled out in its middle name. IV. Not only are today's popular treatments available, IV hydration, joint injections, semaglutide for weight loss, as well as many more, it's also the Gaspar's holistic naturopathic approach that helps your body with self-healing. That means treating the underlying causes of chronic disease, from chronic fatigue to fibromyalgia, even those dealing with Lyme disease and lupus. The experienced medical staff designs a customized plan for each patient. So walk in or make an appointment today. Mention my name, JD Hayworth, get half off your first treatment. Better health awaits you at Beehive IV Wellness in Chandler. Search Beehive IV Wellness on your cell phone. And remember, you'll thrive at Beehive.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. He should be back tomorrow. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, broadcasting live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And Against the Spread has some advice for us. He says, beware of week 1 NFL betting. Have disciplined approach because it's our first data sample of the year. If anything, bet on great coaches that'll have their teams prepared and good defenses because defensive teams always do better early in the season. It's good advice.
That's very good advice.
Very good advice. Commando Duke is on the text line, and he's got some things to say. Of course, I'm sure you have heard already that the Commandos are trading Jahan Dotson and a 2025 fifth-round pick to the Eagles for a 2025 third-round pick and two 2025 seventh-round picks. Wow, I'm really surprised that's happening in division. Can you are you happy with this trade, or are you which side of this are you on?
I'm in the confused department on the trade a little bit, not because if it's in the division, because
dude had 1,000 yards last year.
He did, but
no,
again,
I'm sorry, over 2 years. He was like a third stringer.
He was a first round pick, and he wasn't a third stringer. He was wide receiver 2.
He was 2. I thought he was 3. I get confused because you keep saying who's number 1, who's 2, who's 3.
McLaurin's 1. McLaurin's been 1.
Okay.
But Dotson got drafted and was like immediately 2 and had a really good first season. Then the second season, kind of a fall off there. And I don't know if that was just a combination of Bieniemy's offense, which was not working, or Sam Howell, who's holding off the ball way too long.
Commando Duke has a question for you.
Yeah.
With this happening and your confusion, maybe you'd be less confused if it turns out that Brandon Ayuk might be coming to the town of DC.
I don't think it's happening. I just don't think it's happening. Like the Commanders are trying to start fresh. And this, I think, is a testament to that. They didn't draft any of these dudes from these previous drafts, and they have been getting rid of all of them. So like they just don't like some of these guys. And Dotson was struggling in camp. Like I don't want to make it seem like he was this great receiver. He had a lot to prove. The new staff came in. They really, saw some, the preseason game. He had some passes that were like directly to him. He was just juggling them. He didn't make the catches, but you're struggling, man. And so like when do these things start turning into drops for you? He really needs to get bigger. He's not a very big player, but they need him to be able to separate from people. And when guys are in press coverage against Dotson, they beat him up. He doesn't really get that separation, which is a shame because he's a fantastic route runner. But between the drops, the issues with his hands, and just the fact that he can't beat press coverage, I think they saw enough, and they went ahead and moved him. Is that wise? I don't know. Is that wise to do inside of the division? Well, if you really think the guy doesn't have anything to offer, then what difference could it possibly make? He's going to get to Philadelphia, and then the Eagles are going to learn the same thing you already know. And they gave you a third-round pick to try and find out.
Yeah, remember, you gave him Dotson and a fifth-round pick. You got a third-round pick and 2 seventh-round picks.
Yeah, and the seventh rounders are just kind of there.
Yeah, they're
to match, because there's they have the trade value chart, so like it kind of matches the trade value and that's kind of thing. They want that third rounder because first 3 rounds of the NFL draft, those are the guys that you largely expect to become starters at some point.
Ringless Joe says Dodson. We got Dodson here. Hey, nobody cares. Sir Drives a Lot says it's Guinness time. Enjoy your evening, gentlemen. Enjoy your Guinness.
Yeah.
Elzar of the Mountain says, what's with that appropriate Wendy's commercial discussing saucy nugs?
It's
inappropriate?
What do you mean inappropriate?
What's wrong with a saucy nug, Elzar?
It's nuggets, but they put sauce on them.
Now you made me hungry for nuggets.
Which they're not advertising it as boneless wings, so I'll take that. That's a small victory for me.
Baker's Cocky Hen says, like they say with lemons, take that turnover, mix some apples, make yourself a great apple turnover. Kyler Murray is going to look great this season. Hopes and prayers that Cliff doesn't set Daniels back the way he set Murray back.
Yeah, no, I'm worried about that. Like, that's just genuinely, there are ways that Kyler Murray can play the game that I've seen from him in this year's practices and training camp.
In year 1.
That I never saw from him because they just didn't, like,
he had a great year. The first or second year where they actually were like really looking good.
Yeah, the second year in particular. But they ran so many plays out of the shotgun because Cliff doesn't adapt. Like you do have to play under center sometimes. And the Cardinals, even with Kyler Murray last year, they increased the number of plays that they ran out of ran from under center by 10%. And Kyler did it last year. He clearly could do it. They were top 5 in the league in offensive efficiency with Kyler back as a Cardinal while running more plays from under center with Kyler. The reason they didn't before, Cliff.
Well,
so I'm not thrilled about that aspect of it. What I'm
don't
hoping is Cliff, the head coach, is much worse than Cliff, the offensive coordinator.
Cliff's not doing anything with the special teams, right?
No.
Okay, good. Because I don't know if you know this, but the Browns traded kicker Cade York over to your Commandos.
I'll take it.
You have Cade York, the kicker. I guess Brandon McManus was supposed to be your guy. And then he got accused of sexual assault.
And you just can't have that.
Right. So they cut him. So now
I forget the other guy that they had before they got Cade. They
Riley Patterson.
Yeah. Riley Patterson was struggling all through camp. They tried to open up a kicking competition. The guy that they went and got also sucked. So they just went ahead and cut him. And then they just told Riley, this is last game. This is your last game to prove you belong here. And he missed 2 field goals right off the bat. So you just go ahead and I
feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him too. But like it's the only thing you do on a football field. You have to do it well or you're not here.
That's the way it is in life and jobs, I guess.
It's the reality of it, man.
So Fish Tank says Cardinals are a 500 team this year. Mark it now. Okay, I hate to be that guy, but I'll be that guy. No team can be 500 anymore. You have to be over 500 or in under 500. There's no even anything on 17 games. When we get 18 games, now you can be a 500 team. Now you're either 500 plus or 500 on the minus.
You're either 8-9 or 9-8.
Yeah. So Fish Tank, first, that's the first thing. And second, you are wrong. I'm sorry. You're just wrong.
But okay, if the Cardinals do wind up being roughly a 500 team, either 8-9 or 9-8.
Well, Tila says they could go 8-1, and in that way, they would on a technicality.
They could actually do that, though. I don't think Gannon coaches the kind of team that'll tie. That guy goes for it. But genuinely, from what they did last year to this year, if you get to be roughly a 500 team, or even exactly a 500 team, isn't that a great improvement over what they had a year ago? Knowing that they still have spots that they need to fill on that roster. They got another draft that they need to do, that they need to hit again. And then they need a really good free agency to get into that contending conversation. But 500's fine for where they are.
500 plus.
500
Boys
plus.
One says you can tie. Yeah, but it's not likely.
It's less likely than anything. I mean, come on.
Ringless Joe says the Bills are hugely overrated. Look to the Cardinals to get a huge upset over Buffalo on the road. Yeah, listen,
it's hard to pick against Josh Allen, but like when you look at the Bills roster, it's not good.
So the Cardinals are going to do pretty well up until a point if, and I don't want them to, don't get me wrong, Kyler Murray gets hurt. That's the thing. As long as Kyler Murray stays upright, doesn't have any hitch in the giddy up, and can move and get around, and you know he's got a great new receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. He always works his tight ends. As long as he can survive. Now, how's the O-line? That's the first thing I'd be asking. How's the O-line this year for the Arizona Cardinals? Is that a solid O-line? Because without a solid O-line, then Kyler's going to get rattled and you're going to end up in the toilet. So I'm just saying. And then if he gets hurt because of that, even worse. But until that point, we went through and looked at all the games. Cardinals have a very winnable schedule. They have a lot of games. I'm not saying they're going to be like 17 and all. I'm saying like 11 games. I think they should be able to win.
It's possible. You know, I'm not going to say that it's necessarily going to happen, but it's possible. Like it's in the range of possibilities for a team that I thought last year overachieved on defense, just insanely. Like they're going to be good defensively again, and they got better. Like they are going to be a better defensive unit this year than they were a year ago. And then, you know, offensively, they seem to be filling things out. You add Marvin Harrison Jr., like that's going to make your offense better. It's going to make life easier for Dortch. It's going to make life easier for Trey McBride. You know, it's going to make life easier for James Conner. And then you get Trey Benson, the second back. Like, there are weapons on this team. I just don't know where the pessimism is necessarily coming from with the Cardinals. They've only ever done good things in the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's the Cardinals. So at least at first, on paper, I think you're looking pretty good. We'll see what happens.
But there are talent gaps for them. You know, like the offensive line is just passable.
Swazman says the Cardinals have been a good road team the last couple of seasons. Not always a win, but very competitive every time. Fish Tank says, oh, yeah, I think around 500 is a great step for them. It's going to be higher than that. He says, Jeffrey, at birthday parties, when it went past midnight, were you the kid who yelled, it's tomorrow now? You know what I'm saying.
No, it's just that if you're going to predict the team to be 500 and ties are very rare, that just seems you can't do that unless you're literally saying they are going to be 8-8-1. Then we should hold you to that by the end of the season when they're not literally 8-8-1.
Ringless Joe's coming at us with a weird stat. He says the Cardinals had more wins over the playoff teams than the Chiefs did last year. Keeping in mind the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
So this is just a regular season stat because obviously the Chiefs beat more playoff teams in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Chiefs just had an easier schedule last year. The fact that they were struggling and made it look harder than it had to is just Chiefs things at this point.
Yeah, the Chiefs. Remember last year we were like, what's wrong with the Chiefs?
We've done this every year now for like 2 years in a row for them.
What's wrong with the Chiefs?
They do this always. They just experiment and figure things out over the course of the season. And then by the time the playoffs roll around, we see the actual Chiefs.
Yeah. I think they're pacing themselves.
Yeah.
Against the Spread says, does the NFL still allow ties? Sadly, yes. Sadly, always.
At least you're not a coach that didn't know this, like Ron Rivera, who said he didn't know that they could do that, despite coaching 2 other ties in his career.
I think that's why Against the Spread said that.
Mm-hmm.
He's just messing with your team. Baker's Cocky Hen says Lodolo is out early, almost lasted 5 innings. Skeens is killing it today. Oh no! So that means that Dylan's bet did not go well for Lodolo.
Whoops.
Close, but no cigar. Big George says, I actually predict the Cardinals will go 8-8-1, exactly 500. I think you should go bet that, George.
I just don't think this team's going to tie. They're too scrappy.
They have tied in the past.
They're too gutsy. I'm talking about this version of this team.
I'm just telling you.
This regime. I'm not saying the Cardinals will never tie. I mean, Jonathan Gannon's Cardinals specifically. They're not tying.
Man, I don't care either way.
It's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I'm just telling you from what I've seen, this doesn't look like a bunch of people that tie.
Against the Spread was right, at least, that we don't know anything. We don't know if the Cardinals are going to be good, if the Colts are going to be good, or the Commandos are going to be good. There's just so much uncertainty, and not because we dumb, but because there's been so much movement, so much change, so many pieces drafted, so many pieces moved around that it's, I am getting a new quarterback this year because, well, he was there last year for a minute and then he got hurt. So it's like I have a new quarterback. You have a new quarterback with your Commandos.
Yeah.
And it's like having a new quarterback for the Cardinals because Kyler Murray had been dinged up until just the. So really, we have no idea how this is going to work out until game day happens.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. I'll be honest.
I
am looking forward to that.
I feel better about the Cardinals because I feel like I have more information on them. Kyler did play 8 games last year, so it's not like it's a complete mystery where with Anthony Richardson, there is a little mystery there. And with Jaden Daniels being a rookie, that's a complete mystery as far as I'm concerned.
Tons of it.
Yeah.
Swazman says, Keon, if analytics tell the coaches that a tie will still increase their chances of making the playoffs, then they'll play for a tie. It might be a new strategy.
Okay. I maybe, but I don't think that Jonathan Gannon's that guy. Like the analytics can tell Dan Campbell what to do, for instance. You think Dan Campbell wants to play for a tie? No, Dan Campbell would rather go out there and run the same play on the goal line 3 times and lose.
Yeah, he'll tin cup it. We've seen him do it.
Yeah, before he would ever tie. And I just feel like Jonathan Gannon, just the way the guy is aggressive in his play calling and aggressive in the way that his defense is constructed. I just don't see anything about that guy that says the analytics say tie, so we tie.
Fish Tank says it's annoying being a good team in the AFC, but not a great team in the AFC. In the NFC, you can be good, get deep in the playoffs, and you got a shot. In the AFC, it feels like the Chiefs and then everyone else. It's damn like it's like the Patriots never left. Yeah,
I feel bad for you guys. I don't want AFC problems.
It's tough. It's
like the AFC problems are NBA Western Conference Finals.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to have the long run that the Patriots had. I think they're going to win. They could win another Super Bowl this year. And then everybody's like, all right, we've done it. I mean, it wouldn't be, I don't know.
Why would they fall off?
Something tells me that the Patriots, that the Chiefs are not going to have the same longevity as the Patriots. Why would they fall off? Kelsey, probably really close to retirement, and he's always a big reason that offense does well. He's the safety valve. He's the saving grace. He, Patrick Mahomes is great. Sure, they got other good players and stuff, but let's be honest. They can't keep this up forever. Patrick Mahomes will be a good quarterback for quite some time. But look at the Patriots. They had a lot of years in between. They didn't have 3 in a row. The Chiefs might have 3 in a row, and it's going to get quiet.
Yeah.
So I
like it, but it
just don't feel like you can have another Patriots team in this league.
But I think you can for exactly that reason. If you allow for that same fall off, like the Patriots, it wasn't 20 years of winning Super Bowls. It was like, 5 or 6 years where you can't beat these guys. And then there was a lull there where they were still a really good team, still a playoff team.
You had Bob Kraft over there, open mouth kissing Tom Brady. But over here with the Hunt family and, I don't know how patient they are going to be after winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. I think Andy Reid will get a couple of years, but if they feel like, there's been too much drop off, they're going to fire him, and then they're going to start messing with the lineup. And I just feel like they're not. I don't feel like the Chiefs are wired to go long-term dynasty.
I don't know how. I just don't know if I agree with that. I do think
I'll see you in 5 years.
Okay. I mean, but that's not going to prove it either, right? Because the Patriots had a 5-year window where they weren't.
See you in 10 years.
Okay. If they keep this
visit
front
my
office,
grave in 12.
the front office is good, and to me, that's what keeps your dynasty going. Is can you replace those guys with players on rookie contracts? Now that you've got your quarterback, can you replace that guy with players on cheap deals? And I don't see why the Chiefs would fail to do that suddenly. They have continued to draft well.
I'm pretty good at doing picks, right?
Yeah, I got that.
This is an instinct. It's a gut. You'll see. Just trust me. Beer Bob says, I wonder what the betting odds would be for any team to go 8-1 this year. Would you actually be able to bet that? It's a good question.
That's a great.
Somebody should look that up, not name me. Ringless Joe says, Panthers to win more than 5 games?
No. I wouldn't bet that with your money.
I would. I'll bet anything with his money. Wilbur says
you'll just be wasting his money.
I don't mind.
I'm telling you, that ain't paying out.
Experimental with someone else's money. Mr. Wilbur says Cardinals finished 10-7 and tied for second place in the NFC West. When did they do that? Was that last year? I don't feel like that was last year.
No, definitely wasn't last year.
Niners Napolis says, what is this not knowing if your teams will be good mean? Never heard of it. Dude, you don't know if your team's going to be good this year.
Yeah, wait, no, hold on. You had Jeff Garcia as your quarterback once. Surely you know what that means on some level.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't been these 49ers forever. What do you mean you don't know? When your team can't pay all of the human beings who have their hand out right now, your Brandon Ayuk's, your Trent Williams, your Brock Purdy's, at some point, one of these guys is not going to be capable of being paid. and you miss on a draft pick to replace him, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
We have to take a break. When we come back, I guarantee you more NFL. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
College football week 0 Saturday, number 10 Florida State taking on Georgia Tech. That game in Dublin, Ireland. Florida State won the ACC last year. DJ Uiagalelei, the Oregon State transfer, is their new starting quarterback. They're a 10.5-point favorite against the Yellow Jackets, minus 112 against the spread, while Georgia Tech is minus 108, getting the 10.5. On the money line, the Seminoles minus 465, Georgia Tech plus 350. The over-under is at 55.5. Over even money. The under minus 172. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-690-8974. That's 800-690-8974. 800-690-8974.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Duration products and SuperDeck stains from August 23rd through the 26th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Volunteer now. Help vulnerable and oftentimes overlooked children in Arizona. Court-appointed special advocates, known as CASAs, are assigned to children as advocates during their experience in the foster care system. Volunteer now. You can change the life of a child for the better. Visit azcourts.gov/volunteer to learn about court-appointed special advocates. That's azcourts.gov/volunteer. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Supreme Court.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
With the first pick. Now that the draft is in the books, it's that time of the season when the team gets together, to get acquainted. Summer means mini camp, OTAs, then preseason. Keep yourself tuned to the station with all the insight, updates, and breaking news you need to know about the NFL offseason. If it's the NFL, we talk about it. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Thunder here on 1580 The Fanatic, and Ringless Joe was asking if the Panthers would win more than 5 games. I don't know. The Panthers just went full hee-hee. They just got Michael Jackson. Panthers traded away Michael Barrett, their linebacker, for cornerback Michael Jackson. So that shows you they're serious about this season.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily, them trying to prove anything, but the fact is that their roster is very untalented. There's just they have done a very bad job drafting, and they keep hiring and firing coaches. So there's no system that sticks around longer than a year. Like Frank Reich didn't even make it the whole season. With the quarterback, they made him draft. What is he supposed to do?
Don't bring your kids to Kids Day. I'm just saying. 888-368-1580.
Different
Tank.
Michael Jackson. You can bring your kid. It's not the same Michael Jackson.
Can you be sure?
You can, because the other Michael Jackson's dead.
Oh,
yeah.
Fish Tank says, I'm not seeing an exact record, but bet, but I am seeing exactly 8 wins for the Cardinals at plus 650, which, if you really believe it, is quite the return.
But you'd have to really believe that.
So that's the closest you can get to betting them at 500. If you can't find the 8-8-1 bet. I bet somewhere you can.
Somewhere. I'm sure maybe there's some offshore book that has.
Is there a bet, Fish Tank, where you can just at least call a tie? Say, like, I don't know. Seems like something you're going to have to do with a pal. Baker's Cocky Hen says, season will be a thriller with Michael. I see what you did there. Big George says, did Keon just call Michael Jackson untalented? He's probably one of the most talented pedophiles
I said
of all time.
The Panthers roster is untalented, and I mean that overall.
Yeah.
This Michael Jackson, by the way, not Michael Jackson, the singer.
Beer Bob says, so Barrett got traded for Jackson. Is that going to break up the Barrett Jackson car auction group? Well, that's a good point.
Just probably not. Probably
Barrett Jackson will never be the same again.
No relation to either.
That is weird.
In all likelihood. Yeah.
That's weird.
It's a coincidence.
Niner Napolis says, if the gauge for good is going to be, let's say 10 plus wins, I believe they'll be good again. Who's they?
I think he means the Cardinals.
Niner Napolis is saying this?
No,
I guess means the 49ers.
I guess it must be the Niners, but okay. Like, but you can't say that you don't know what it means to not be sure that your team is good. If you've been rooting for the team as long as I think you have, then you can't say you're not sure what your team's going to be like. I have no idea how that feels. Yes, you do. I watched the Niners in the 2000s, so you're not going to lie to me and make that seem like that was fun football. That was good football to watch.
I'm worried about my own football right now. And that is because the story came out from that joint practice between my Colts and the Bengals that Anthony Richardson was having a hard time finding a receiver open. So he run the ball. And I guess one of the Bengals defenders, BJ Hill, was like, throw the ball, man. Throw the ball. And then Cam Taylor goes, is that all he does is run? Of course, he's yelling that at the fans, but loud enough for everyone to hear. I really hope that was just a bad day and not the way things are looking to go. I really hope.
Yeah, I don't know. It's impossible to tell. We don't know what he was supposed to be looking at. We don't know what what they told him to do if certain receivers aren't open. We don't know what the play was. If the guy had anything. If every other drive that day ended in an incomplete pass, so he was just like, screw it, I'll keep it myself. I have no idea. There's so much context is missing from that. I'm not even going to read anything into it.
I haven't read this yet, but I don't know why, because Moist One keeps texting, this is our Colts, this is our team. We bleed blue, like it's a song. Why are you doing this, Moist One? Niners Napolis says, I blocked those early 2000s out, Keon, but fine. Jeff Garcia was awesome. That one time, though.
That one time. Exactly. There were years, I would say, between the years of 2004 to 2010. Most of those years, you didn't know what your team was going to be, and they were ass most of those years. That's just a fact. My team, too, for what it's worth, just also yours.
Ringless Joe says, for 49er fans, it's not knowing if Kyle Shanahan's going to blow another huge lead in a Super Bowl. If they get to it again.
If they get to it again, that's a big if.
See, why is it so hard for coaches to figure out what the hell to do with Taysom Hill. Now they're saying that Dennis Allen had maybe we should think about putting him out there at linebacker. Dude, he started out as a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we don't know what to do with you, so you're a tight end.
Well,
okay. And then they're like, well, you're a quarterback and tight end. Well, we'll just decide it. You're both.
At first, he was a real gadget quarterback. He had his own special, packages he'd run as quarterback. But that was Sean Payton specifically. Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill. Everybody else doesn't love Taysom as much as Sean Payton loves him.
Still on the team.
Yeah. And the thing is, he's an incredible athlete. Like, there's definitely things you can do. And anytime a coach sees an athlete, they try to figure out how many different ways can I use this guy in an offense, and it can't be his quarterback.
This was in the beginning. Back in 2017, they were thinking about making him a linebacker. So they have not been able to figure out what to do with him. I don't even know what he is now. What is he? Is he a fullback? Is he a tight end? Is he a quarterback again?
He's in that offensive weapon classification of player where
he's a quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, special teams player.
Yeah, he's an athletic guy. And they're trying to figure out, how do we get your athleticism on the field? You came in as a quarterback, so you have to learn any position you're switching to. And we can't have you be a full-time wide receiver. We can't have you be a full-time tight end because there's nuances to those positions that you have to learn. Every other tight end in the league is now ahead of you on that. So unless you're Antonio Gates athletic, you don't just become a tight end one day. That doesn't happen for most guys.
People, listen to me carefully. Stay away from Taysom Hill in fantasy football. Don't even go there.
Don't touch it.
You're just going to frustrate yourself. Baker's Cocky Hen says Taysom Hill is the Mormon Tim Tebow.
Well, it's not.
Is he Mormon? CK says, as a Niners fan, I remember when we were asked, Jim Tomsula.
Jim
Mike
Tomsula. My
Those
guy,
years were
Jim
horrible.
Tomsula. Oh, my God. Jim Tomsula, who would just be in press conferences and just rip one and then look at the media like it didn't happen.
I think I just figured out what Moist One's trying to do to me.
Oh, boy.
Somebody else sent that to me, and we just say, yeah. I have not listened to it. I will not watch it. Some spaz singing some song about the Colts in full Colts gear.
Yeah, I saw that video.
I'm not watching it.
Started to cringe and I turned it off. I'm not there.
Now you're going to turn on the audio. Haven't heard it. Not going to hear it.
I haven't heard more than the first couple of seconds, and that was enough.
Might have to block Moist One on Twitter. I might have to do that.
Yeah, it's just there's no reason to say that so much.
Moist One says, you're not a real fan. It's an anthem.
No, it's
Shut up, Moist One.
No, it's not. It barely qualifies as music, much less an anthem.
So at first I was like, all right, so who do you believe on the whole Tua Tagovailoa and Brian Flores thing? Then Brian Flores comes out and says, yeah, but I've grown. It's like, oh,
so you did say those things.
There's no argument here. The things Tua Tagovailoa said about Brian Flores turned out to be true. And said, Flores was not a great coach. And he says he's a terrible person. Okay. And then Brian Flores is like, I'm happy for his success. And he's like, yeah, I have regrets. I wish him nothing but the best. Well, what do you do with this? Brian Flores saying like, well, okay, yeah, well, this is not good for his court case.
I don't know that it affects the court
think about
case.
it. No. Hear me out. So he says that the time, he was working with Tua was not a great time, and that he was hard on him, and if all the stuff, he didn't challenge anything Tua said. All he said was, I've grown and I've evolved. So he's like, yeah, I just wish him nothing but the best. Now the other lawyers in the court case that Brian Flores has could say, even Brian Flores himself admits that during this time, blah, 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 blah. So they're going to try to paint a picture of Brian Flores,
I guess,
that hurts Brian Flores in his court case against the NFL.
I guess they'd be unwise not to do that. I just don't know that it's much. Like, his case is that he was told to basically tank, and that when he didn't do that, he got the axe. I don't know that this affects that aspect of the case.
When they come at your character, you know what I mean? That's
yeah,
always
that
then
I
they're
think
be like,
okay.
Well, how do we know that he was told to do this? Blah blah blah.
I see what you're saying, and I think that it becomes a factor if there are any things in dispute. Like if he doesn't have a paper trail saying these are the things they wanted me to do, then it's going to come down to character, and then at that point, yeah, it probably doesn't help. Like if it's a tiebreaker, oh yeah, no, I think that's very bad for him.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying.
So all I know is I hope it doesn't affect his because I believe Brian Flores has a case. I just Brian, you didn't have to say anything,
and it's not like Brian
was what Tua was saying.
He didn't have to. I think he was just trying to be a good person and maybe take the high road a little bit and say, "Hey, I did say those things."
That's accountability. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And it's not like he was a bad coach in Miami.
No, I thought he was all right.
His last 2 years in Miami, they won 19 games. With McDaniels as coach the last 2 years, they've won 20. It's about the same result.
Fish Tank says, I wasn't going to he says, I was going to redo that Colts tune for you. Just didn't get around to it. Well, if you could make it'd probably be awesome.
Yeah, if you could make it less crap, that would be great.
Yeah, if you redo it just to make it crap, don't bother. But if you redo it to make it awesome, we'll play your version. I'll never listen to the version of that.
This is one of those where we're just going to assume that the cover is better than the original. Because how could it not be?
Yeah, I'm not even going to try. All right, listen, we got to take a break. We come back. We got On This Date in Big George's sports history. It's more of the Daily Blender after this here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Kick off fall with Labor Day deals happening now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on select interior paint via Lowe's gift card rebate for your next paint project. Plus, don't miss out on select one-pint annuals. Get 5 for only $5. Shop these can't-miss deals today before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Mom, where are my keys?
Why do I have to take out the garbage? I'm too sick to go to school. Quit hogging the bathroom.
If you're having a hard time living with all the noise, it's even harder to live without it. Fake pills with fentanyl are the #1 killer of youth in Arizona. Learn how to talk to your kids at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Download our free sports app and stay up with all the latest sports news, scores, highlights, and more. Or stream us live anywhere at 1580thefanatic.com. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, Arizona's home for sports.
Danny Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. So this broke just a little bit ago. I guess the Chiefs have come to an agreement with Creed Humphrey, the center, and he is now the NFL's highest paid center. Well, I didn't see that. It just came out of nowhere. That extension, bam, right there. It's a very rich deal. And I guess he's got $42 million of guaranteed money. That ain't bad.
That's pretty good.
That ain't bad.
It's not bad for an offensive lineman.
So he'll get an average of $13.5 million a year, and $42 million of that is guaranteed. So it's a 4-year, $72 million extension with actually $50 million guaranteed.
And he's 25. Guy's just getting into his prime.
Tells you how good he is, huh?
He's a great athlete, great player. All the way back to college. I mean, at the University of Oklahoma, dude was just a mauler. And then your center also has to be smart, and he's incredibly intelligent. The mullet might fool you, but that's a smart guy.
So that's excellent. Good for him. I'm glad for him.
Yeah. Anytime an offensive lineman gets paid, I'm especially happy for those guys.
You want to hear the most delusional thing?
Let's go for it.
Giants assistant GM Brandon Brown says, we're not looking to add a quarterback. Why would we?
Well, I guess right now, why would you?
If you have Daniel Jones in your roster, you should always be looking for another quarterback. Who's the backup? Tommy DeVito, right? Drew Lock? Which one is it?
Oh, good Lord. Let me check here.
If that is your crew, Danny DeVito, Drew Lock, and Jones.
Yeah, Drew Lock looks like QB2, and then DeVito's 3.
You don't have a quarterback. Daniel Jones stinks to high heaven. Drew Lock stinks to high heaven. Tommy DeVito, I don't even remember. Is he any good?
He likes chicken cutlets a lot. Like, I don't remember.
He stinks to high heaven.
He wasn't good.
Giants is going to stink.
They're going to stink. But Daniel Jones is the guy they picked over Saquon. They had 2 contracts to figure out how to work with. They chose the quarterback instead of the running back. The running back's in a great situation now, not with them. And then the quarterback sucks just as badly as he did before they paid him. Like, don't pay a player just because you feel like you have to if the player sucks. Now, if you think there's something there, okay, that's a different conversation. But Daniel Jones has been this same player his entire career. At what point do they not just cut bait on Daniel Jones and just move on? They did try to draft his replacement in this draft, though. They just couldn't move up and get him. So now you got to lie because the season's here.
Can you believe they got worse? They got worse.
I mean, yeah, the guy who was their offense is playing inside of their division on another team. So it's not great.
And then Dan Campbell is saying, oh, yeah, we got good players. We got to cut good players. We didn't have to do that 3 years ago. We had to cut good players now.
They've done a hell of a job drafting. Good problems.
Well, I wonder what good players they're going to cut. Wonder if, wonder what we're in for here. How many good players do you think are not going to make the roster cut on some teams and then, get picked up on some other teams? Sometimes it's a couple of guys. Yeah, I wonder if this is a year where there's going to be a lot of that.
There may be, because we're in that window of time where guys were using their extra COVID year in college. So we have draft classes that are a little bigger than they used to be. So not everybody gets drafted. So you got a bunch of unsigned free agents who are actually pretty decent players. They would have been drafted in another draft, just not last year. So they're going to be guys that aren't going to make rosters that are actually pretty solid.
Taco Kenny says, speaking of stink, I'll be at the draft after work. Hopefully I don't have to carpool with Mrs. Taco.
Why?
What?
Why not?
You don't mean to say that she stinks. Are you talking about you stinking? Yeah, I don't understand that text. I would imagine Taco Kenny means he stinks and he hopes that he doesn't have to drive straight from work and have his wife smell him. That's what I think he means.
Yeah. That's what I hope you mean anyway. Otherwise, you too will be on a couch.
Oh, I saw something that was scary today.
Oh boy.
Now,
What was
I
it?
always warn everybody, right? Because this is why whenever time like a German voice comes up, on is this on something, or it's there's no in between with the German voice. So I saw this, and listen, when you try to take over the world twice, you can see why maybe this is not the best choice. A German Navy ship comes rolling down the Thames River in London the other day. They turn on the speakers and they start blasting the Imperial March from Star Wars. Dun, 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 dun. People are like, what the hell is that? Spokesperson said the choice of music had no deep meaning. Commander of the ship's just a Star Wars fan. And some people are like, yeah, but that's stormtroopers, Star Wars, stormtroopers, Nazis. And when did the Germans ever have a sense of humor? I don't think they've developed one in 100 years.
Agreed. But well, I don't know. There's some German people who think they're funny. I don't know if if they actually are funny. Like probably here, for instance. But it's weird. It is weird. You can't do that. That's ominous music. First off, we all know that the stormtroopers, the design of them, based on the Axis powers in World War II.
Always keep an eye on the Germans.
The Imperial March is the Imperial March of like the Japanese in World War II. Axis power. The guys, you were not the good guys in that war. You can't play the music that is based on you guys being the bad guys.
George Lucas named the stormtroopers in Star Wars after the German stormtroopers from that war.
Mm-hmm. It was like a mishmash of all the Axis powers.
It's like they're going to have a new rule. They're like, all right, listen up here. I think we have to explain some things. Now, we said you can no longer have a swastika. The swastika is just completely right out. You can't have that. Now we have to add to this no Imperial March from the stormtroopers because that is unsettling for the other peoples. So, no swastika and no Imperial March. That is all.
I think that's solid.
Shouldn't have to tell anybody this.
You'd think.
Spideymon says, FYI, I've got family that comes and visits almost every year from Germany. They do not have a good sense of humor. I know it was outlawed like hundreds of years ago there. The funniest person is like, you need to live now. You will make the chuckle, haha. You do not do it here. You're no longer German. You're Austrian.
Right.
You go where Austrians are. Shame on you. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1966, all-star slugger Frank Robinson, a non-swimmer who accidentally jumped into the deep end of a pool to avoid being thrown in by his Baltimore Oriole teammates, was saved from drowning by rookie catcher Andy Etchebarren. Private evening swim party for the team coincidentally took place at the home of Leonard Ruck, a funeral director. Back to me, Jeffrey. There's a lot going on in that story.
Too much going on in that story.
First off, how do you accidentally jump into the you fall in? I don't think you jump in accidentally. And if you can't swim, why are your bastard co-players they're trying to throw you in? Why are you at the home of a funeral director having a party? That is weird. Everything about this makes no sense.
The jumping in, I could see just if you think someone's going to push you, you try to jump out of the way, and then it's just a bad jump. You wind up in the water instead of, still on land where I assume you'd like to be if you can't swim. The other stuff has zero explanation. I can't come up with one for any of it.
No, there's another one you haven't even thought of. In Baltimore, who has a pool?
People have pools in Baltimore. A lot of people have pools.
Who has a pool in Baltimore? Seriously, it's
I don't know anybody who lives in Baltimore anymore.
I don't feel like that's a place where there's a lot of backyard pools.
There's a decent amount. Not like downtown Baltimore, but in the suburbs, People have
rich guy funeral director house, I guess.
Yeah. For instance, him. Yeah.
Just saying, it's weird
because it's humid as all get out in Baltimore. Like that is, yeesh. It's gross in the summer.
I'm just saying. 888-368-1580. There's just many things going on with that story.
How you managed to become close enough friends with a funeral director? You were just hanging out at his house.
And also, why is this a historical thing that a guy almost drowned but got pulled out by somebody else? How does this even rank to show up as a story?
He was saved by his teammate, which is cool. Glad the guy
teammate who was trying to throw him in the first place.
I thought it was a different teammate. Did I understand that wrong?
Frank Robinson accidentally jumped in the deep end to avoid being thrown in by his teammates. Was saved by rookie catcher Andy Etchebarren. He was part of it. He had to have been. Because if he's trying to...
Were they all trying to push him in together?
I feel like they were.
I mean, it'd be funnier anyway, like as just a mental image. I'm sure he didn't find it funnier.
And everybody else is like, he can't swim. He's like, oh, crap.
Quick, before we have a lawsuit on our hands. However, had he died, the funeral director's right there.
I don't know, man. I probably should have gone deeper in the list. For the history on this day thing.
Roll that one out, Big George. That's a weird story.
So Ringless Joe says the Giants have Daniel Jones as quarterback, but the Vikings have JJ's backup. Which is worse? Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold? Well, yeah. Sam Darnold's worse.
Daniel Jones is worse. Sam Darnold's on a 1-year deal.
No. Just in general, as a player.
As a player, yeah, Darnold is worse as a player.
Yes.
But they signed him knowing they wanted to draft a quarterback. And
we're not talking about the contract. We're just talking about who's better or worse as a quarterback.
Okay, yeah, it's Darnold.
Yeah,
it's Darnold. Yeah.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
Daniel Jones' bank account killed the Giants for a lot of years now. It's just decimated though. More than decimated.
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think the
Giants are going to stink for years.
They have. In a combination with paying Daniel Jones when they should not have paid Daniel Jones, they've not drafted well.
There's that. But I mean, Daniel Jones in that contract and then losing Saquon Barkley, the combination of the two things.
Because the Jones contract isn't.
There's a curse.
That big of a contract when you compare it to other quarterbacks. So it's not like he's killing them for the next 6 years or something.
So I've been watching that show with Vince Vaughn on Apple TV there.
Which one?
Bad Monkey.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there is a character on there. And I realized as like, I want to put a curse on the other radio stations. I need to find a voodoo princess to put a curse on the other radio stations. Just want to see if it works. Does anyone know where I can find a voodoo princess?
Princess or priestess?
Priestess. I don't know. Whichever voodoo.
Usually there's a priestess of voodoo.
That's a good point.
It's not a royalty thing. It's
a voodoo priestess.
Probably New Orleans. That's where a lot of the voodoo is. New Orleans, Baton Rouge.
I haven't been there since the stand-up days, and I'm sure it still smells like urine.
It does still smell like that. Yeah. Well, okay. It's been like 4 years since I was there, but it does still smell.
Even since the big rinse.
Quite bad. Because it's the big rinse.
Yeah.
It still smells bad.
That's what they should call it, the big rinse.
And the rats are still big.
Oof. Well, they probably got stronger from swimming.
Yeah.
Fish Tank says, Bad Monkey is a weird one. Dragon Lady for life. Yeah, that's a character. I know that's a TV show. But if there's a real voodoo priestess, I just want to experiment.
There's got to be someone down in the bayou still practicing voodoo. Has to be.
I'm not looking to cost anybody any money, but I want to put a curse on the other sports stations where they're all hiccuping.
Oh no, the word.
Yes.
Because if you have a day where you're sneezing a lot, your cough button's going to get a lot of work, but you'll be okay. Or if you're coughing, if your throat's a little gravelly, you're hiccuping, you're screwed. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I got nothing.
I'll give you a pile of money if you can get them to all hiccup nonstop for like a week. A week. A week of hiccups. Oh my God, it works.
Oh, that's more evil than people in our audience
Well,
realize.
No, I wouldn't want anybody to die or
No,
anything.
but
I don't need them to lose
talk-
money.
Talking is your entire job. If you hiccup all the time,
Go to network.
they'll have to.
I think it'll be amazing.
What choice will they have?
Baker's Cocky Hen says, in high school, we had a psychic that we would ding-dong ditch every day at lunch right off the I-17 in Glendale. She put a curse on us like after the 5th time. So I guess that's how we ended up here.
You'd think she would have seen it coming, though, if she was a psychic.
Fish Tank says, that show's based in Miami. Catch a game while you're there and then drop the hiccup curse all in one weekend. That's not bad. That's not bad. See you guys tomorrow. It's Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired